Okay, and we are recording, and no right error has poppeted it up.
Yes, no right, no wrong.
No in the middle.
And I'm just gonna
No gray area.
I'm gonna give you a little insight to Brad.
Or gray area. Yeah.
He's a little grumpy today
Yes, he is.
because
Yes,
the Bears lost last night.
they sure did.
Oh, no.
and not only did they lose, they were embarrassed
Oh.
against their arch rivals.
Hold on, can I guess?
The Hunters.
No. I was going to do a Goldilocks joke. It's fine. It's fine.
No, you should have done that. You should have. That's
It's all right.
different.
No. Were they too hot or too cold?
They were too cold.
They were too cold.
They were too cold. Yeah.
Damn.
It,
Now, what?
It hurt to watch. I'm like, should I
Yeah.
stop watching TV forever? And you know, I'm sure you've read Oedipus the King, and I had like the wire, the heated wire, and I was going towards my eye.
Ooh, you were going to blind yourself.
Yeah.
Because of what you did. Because the Bears losing.
Well, because
is
of what
like
I had
you
seen.
Sleeping with your mother.
No, I thought how did Tiresias? Oh no, Oedipus blinded himself. Tiresias was just blind.
No. Tiresias was dancing like in an urban way.
Uh-huh.
And then that pan-faced gal, she was a ballerina.
Okay.
We're talking about Tiresias, right?
Yeah.
Actor?
No.
Tiresias?
Brad likes the Bears because they overlap their love of porridge. That's one too.
That's good. I like that.
I
I don't know if
honestly,
any of this will make it in.
I don't know that
Yeah.
it should.
I was with Walt Flanagan last night.
Yeah.
And we were watching the Jets game or the Giants game.
Yeah.
Are you public with that yet?
And
That you're with Walt Flanagan?
And so we were
last
watching
night?
it, and I'm like, "Yeah, Brad's pretty upset." He's like, "How come?" I go, "Well, his team is the Bears." He goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, tonight." And he goes, "Did he think they were going to do good?" And I go, "I don't know what he thinks."
I've had a whole off season to drink the Kool-Aid, and I'm chugging it down.
This is what
Bear down, bear
lights you
down,
up.
bear down.
This is what lights Brad up. This is insane.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I was so mad.
You're like
yesterday.
an 85-year-old man.
Remember the stapler thing?
Yeah.
If his
If he
house,
had a stapler right now, he would have thrown it.
If there was a fourth little pig and their house was made of staplers, they lived on Main Street, they'd be at the homeless shelter right now.
Oh, it is amazing. I guess my question is this: as a sports fan, because
Yeah.
I'm not,
Right.
I'm not into the sport.
I'm
Right.
a fan of sports in general.
Sure, yeah. Say it into the mic so people can hear your goof.
I'm a fan of sports.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm pro sports.
Right.
Wait, no, that sounds different. Pro sports. I'm more of a pro-am sport. Wait,
Okay.
No.
listen. If you all, it is kind of, sports are kind of weird.
They're weird.
National sports
They're
are
weird.
are
They're
weird
bad.
because
It's
I'm
not good.
doing dumb like Seinfeldian pull back far
Yep.
enough, and you see how weird it is.
Yeah, Seinfeldian pull out something completely different.
Yeah. Famously.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, see, his trick is he hates to pull out.
Yep.
So he would only sleep with premenstrual.
Oh no, Jerry.
He's borderline predator. How you doing? This is my career,
Hey.
and it's important to me. What?
I'm like 2 people removed from Mr. Sign. We gotta,
Okay.
we gotta
All right.
tread lightly.
Okay, honey. So it's cute when he does that.
Yes.
No, it is weird. Like national sports stuff.
Okay.
If you didn't know any of that, if you just came in cold, I don't want to be a cliche and say like if you were an alien landing on the
Right.
planet, it would be insane to be like, oh no, we have we have doctors, we treat leukemia, and also we have huge stadiums devoted to these men who wear pads and helmets.
Yep.
They smash into each other
Collision
to try and
sport.
get a ball
Yep.
Yeah.
from one end of a field that we've all agreed is the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never different. Only the field.
Right.
And we measure it by yards. It's like the only thing we do yards for.
Yep.
And we need them to be good and win, and they're from areas. Now they represent a region.
Yes.
However, the players that are representing that region are not from that region.
Well, that's the
Often.
problem, is that the Bears have signed like 7 people who are like, they grew up as Bears fans, and it's like, no, just sign good players.
Well, I mean, what are
Ooh.
we saying? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I see. This is what's hard for me is because like I like the idea of being like Brad grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Nope.
Where was it?
Dyer,
Dyer,
Indiana.
And like, let's say, fantasy world.
It was in sepia tone. It was horrible.
Yes.
See, like, so the closest city was Chicago.
My family hated the sepias.
Closest city was Chicago.
Yes, that's correct.
So that's the team that you're kind of associated with when
Yeah.
you grow up.
Yeah.
The idea of people going and playing for that team from that area that have shared experiences, all the shared fun stuff, like a little bit of an accent and everywhere, a
Sure.
little bit of like, oh, this is our favorite food. This is the movie that was shot here. And they have all this like collective growth and bonds.
Yes.
And being like, I want to root for this Chicago guy that has the same thing as me. That makes sense to me.
Yes.
But the way that all these leagues operate is not that. It's like a fictional version of it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
almost like if they released Fast and Furious 11 and we're like, we love it. And it was like, here are the people. Paul Reiser, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like,
Paul Reiser being the first pull.
well, it's like none of the actual people that are associated with the thing we like.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, we just kind of traded for whoever we think we're going to, you know what I mean? It's like, what are we talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's Paul Reiser. He's in the car, right?
Yeah.
And then he looks at Aquaman and he goes, "You killed John Cena.
Yep.
I'm mad about you.
No, but
You guys are a bad influence on me. I do think it's insane.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that connection makes sense,
Right.
But then they destroy the connection,
Yeah.
and people are still invested.
How are we at a point where we are landing little cars on other planets, and the little car drives around and takes pictures?
Really only one other planet, but yes.
Sure.
No, what about the ocean one?
the moon?
No
if you
word
count-
back on that.
If you
They're
count
coming
the
back
moon
for
as
some
like a
reason.
planetoid,
Okay.
Okay.
You're wrong.
So we're on different firmas,
Yeah.
right? It is insane that as a human entity,
Yes, that's
as
us.
a society,
that's us.
we have made it to that point in advancement.
Mm-hmm.
But also, 100 years ago, a guy put a peach basket up on a pole, and so now. That's very important. It's very important to us.
I mean, not
Who
to.
can throw the ball in the peach basket? It's so important to us. And to the point that we will make legends of the people.
I'll say, like from a sociology perspective,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's mock war.
Yeah,
Because it's
absolutely. It's
us
gladiators.
against them,
It's
right?
just gladiators.
Except it's not for mortal peril. Like I only lose like sleep and develop ulcers because of my interest in this football team. I'm not getting hurt. I'm not risking my life again, except for the ulcers.
Yeah.
And
Or that time you went to a Phillies game
yes, ooh.
and you were so scared.
I went to a Boston Bruins Chicago Blackhawks game a few years ago, and I would not wear a Blackhawks jersey because I was so worried about how the Bruins
when
fans
you were
were
in
treated.
Philly, you kept going, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here.
Have a drink of water. And so it is play war. I
Yeah.
get it. We're getting all of our like primal like urges out. Well, not all of them. We're getting some of our primal urges
Yeah.
out in the sense of like we want to see violence. We want our group to prevail against the other group, whatever that is.
Right.
And as Chuck points out, it's nebulously defined
That's
and
right, right, yeah.
constantly
The
changing.
labels mean nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And, for me, I'm like, well, this connects me to where I grew up. So, like, the idea of the
I
lineage
get-
of the Bears
Yeah.
does that. But, man, did they screw the pooch yesterday.
And it's very, I think it's very funny. And I
Yeah.
think the idea of it is interesting, the way we hold national leagues, like the
Yeah.
NFL, the NBA, the MLB used to be a huge thing, and now it's kind of like it's
bet it's
like,
still
oh,
big,
come
just
on,
not as big
it's
as-
baseball, don't you love it, right? Like
Yeah,
that kind
it's
of
all-
deal.
it's all the same.
I think Hannibal
Yeah.
Buress said baseball game is the best place to go with somebody you haven't seen in a few years.
Yeah. Just so you can chat.
yeah.
That's great. I like that. But it is funny that that's what it means, and we take it very seriously. I do think the idea of like just boiling it down to some guy put a basket on a pole, and
Yep.
now that is
Yeah.
like entire cities are devoted to building a stadium,
Yes.
paying millions of dollars taxpayer money,
Billions
billions
in
of
some cases.
dollars,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just being like, that's it, it's important to us because we need that, because where else will the Bluefins play?
Right.
I need
Yeah.
to come up with a fake thing. And think of all the children that are in incredibly bad childhoods,
Right.
Because their parents are like Tiger
Bluefin
Woods'
fans.
dad,
Oh,
where
okay.
it's like, if you want to be a bluefin, then you got to get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I want you going to bed at 7:30 p.m. every goddamn night. I'm gonna hit you if you miss that ball.
It's funny because like growing up, I think my high school, Mount Hope, and I'm not. Brad can't really speak to this, I guess. I think they were a
Brad's high school is Mount Despair.
Yes.
In Dyer.
well, I think they were a Division I team, and in our senior year, all of our varsity players got to the finals, and we had to go play in the Providence College, like whatever,
Right.
the auditorium or whatever, not the auditorium, the court, and like to me. That makes sense because like these are people we know,
Well, yeah,
people
sure.
we interact with,
Yeah.
and for the the years they're working on it, and so all of that bonding makes sense to me. Same thing with
Yeah.
college.
Right.
College is kind of more similar to that, but then when it does
Sure.
get into like, well, this is Miami, and they drafted Jimmy, and they drafted Sambo, and and I don't understand how the connection stays like close to your heart.
Well, also,
I guess.
I agree with you, and I would say with the high school and college stuff, like the fact that many high schools that have a good team,
Yeah.
a Division I, and it's doing well, like
It might have been Division II, but
the
yeah.
devotion of that is kind of wild, right? Like how many players like get away with shit because they're a good player.
Right.
Oh,
Same thing with college. That's a huge thing with
Oh,
colleges.
that's a crazy thing.
And it is
too,
kind of weird
but-
because ultimately it's like, again, if we pull back, if we
Yeah.
pull out of the whole thing,
yeah.
that's my new T-shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always pull out
Of the whole thing.
and with an asterisk, and at the bottom it's like, what I mean is like the grand scope of things. Not,
Don't be gross.
Not jaculating.
That's how you spell it.
Jaculate.
Jockolate.
That only happens in October.
Yeah, I'm gonna jaculate. This is cut all of it. But no, I do think it's weird when it's like, yes, this is incredibly important to this school, right? Friday Night Lights, Texas, doing football,
Varsity
all that
Blues,
bullshit.
baby.
Yeah, when
I
you
don't
pull
want
out,
your
it's like,
life.
hey, these are 16-year-old children.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Calm the fuck down.
Yep.
My son did a summer basketball camp this year because
Yep.
he really likes basketball.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yes.
I'll get you the basketball shit. My wife and I got him a basketball hoop. We put it out in the front. We play basketball with him. It's a good time. Really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And so he's 9. He did the camp, and there's a girl on his team that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
Her father will sit there and like berate her.
Oh, yeah.
If she misses or if she does something that she wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to a point, like if she misses, she's so mad at herself.
Yeah.
And he will like call her over during a game and be like, you need to do stuff like that. I'm like, that's when I am like, can we calm the fuck down?
Yep.
This is a 9-year-old playing a game
Yeah.
in a boys and girls club basketball
Right.
court.
Yeah.
All they give a shit about is if they get to get their bottle of Prime at the end of the game,
Right.
which we won't let Finn have. But
What is it?
Prime is terrible.
What is it though?
Some weird energy drink.
Yeah,
right?
there's the energy drink version. It's basically like a knockoff Gatorade.
Okay.
That puts a bunch more bullshit in it that they cover with like artificial sweetener, and it's terrible. But it's all being pushed by Logan Paul because he's on the.
Oh, I
he's
did
part
hear
of the
about
company.
this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
trash. Anyway, but it is weird to pull back that far and realize like this 9-year-old kid. I get the idea of push the kid that wants to do the thing. Like we
Right.
push Finn with basketball because he loves it, but I'm never going to make that miserable for him.
Yeah.
That's
I
fun.
know.
That sucks so bad. We should start
Yes.
this episode.
Well, let me just say, devil's ad is I think.
What if that kid fucked up?
No, I just think in terms of like the idea of competition, and that's always a part of people in every field, like not just
Sure.
physicality, but also in, like things where you're measured artistically, things where you're measured by intelligence, all these
Porn.
different things. And a sport is kind of one where people can go and get all together and root for the same people and feel a sense
Right.
of like belonging and a team
Sure,
and we're
sure.
behind this.
Yeah.
And I think this is my guess, all these leagues probably did start as more of a fuck yeah, we're the Yankees, we're from here, we represent this. And then as these companies became multi-billion-dollar companies over the past however many decades, the rules probably kept changing to get them to make more money, and teams that had more money had more power, and teams that were doing better got more money to get them better players. And now that idea of, well, there's a sense of self and there's a sense of we're from this area, we represent this, has probably dissipated because of the way that profits can come in if you dissipate that. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I would add to that the idea of that is fairly new.
Right.
Is the idea of people dedicating themselves from childhood to a sport. Right? Like in the 70s, there wasn't basketball players that were like, I started playing basketball when I was 5 years old.
Right.
And
Maybe,
I take fucking HGH and you know.
I think they were playing, but it wasn't organized. There was no infrastructure.
Right, and there were no
Pete Maravich. Or
yeah,
whatever.
there were no like coaches and other people around to be like, let me put you on this system and let me go through this stuff.
Maybe Michael Jordan was like one of the big ones that people
Sure.
heard about that story with his dad, right? Is that a big thing? Or no? Am I making that up?
I think you're making that up.
Oh, I thought Michael Jordan, it was like from a young age, his dad was like, you're going to be an NBA player and all this stuff. And rooted
maybe.
for him.
His dad was definitely like in his corner for sure.
I thought it was like a big part of his story. Maybe
Yeah,
I just
no,
get it.
no, I
Maybe
believe
it's from
so.
Space Jam.
No, I believe that is true. The other part of this is the Olympics. If you want to talk about more insanity, at least the people playing for the team, quote unquote.
Right.
The only thing is like that has to be your nationality. Right?
Right.
So you have to be from there.
Right.
Do you have to, or can you trade?
You can't trade, but like sometimes some of the smaller countries will be like, you can come be our citizen if you agree to do this sport for us.
Yeah.
And so if I'm from the U.S. and I'm the 12th best handball player in the country, and the handball team is only 11 people, and I'm like, geez, I really like handball.
So it's not quite as profit based and common as in
it's not as common. And maybe I had a grandfather who was from Lesotho,
the Azores,
and they're like, let's bring him. What it was about being Portuguese?
Azoresian.
Yep.
But here's my thing, and I think other people have said this. It's kind of hacky, but I do firmly believe it. I think that the Olympics should happen every 4 years.
You're okay,
right? Fine. I think the Winter Olympics should also be the same year, so we don't none of this every 2 years bullshit.
Okay.
It's 1 year every 4 years, and it's summer and winter. Done.
That'd be fun.
And
Big year.
you ready?
There should be a spring and a fall Olympics.
There should be an Olympic draft, an international Olympic draft,
okay.
and it's a little hacky, but I believe it. Every nation that competes in the Olympics should have a lottery where random citizens are selected. And if you did that and just average ass people, you could luck out and have an incredibly athletic person running, the quarter mile or whatever. Right. Or you could have me have to run the quarter mile. And this is my point. Tell me, the Olympics have struggled with ratings for decades at this point.
Right.
People are stopping their interest in it. Remember when fucking figure skating was like the thing?
Yeah.
Everybody was into
Tanya.
I wonder if it'll ever get to the point where people are like, shot put. That's the thing this year, right? But I do think everyone would watch the Olympics way more
Wild
if
card.
it was just random fucking people.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
look at this row of people that are about to jump in that pool.
Yep.
Who the fuck are they? And then now I don't give a shit. Every bio that they show in an Olympic game is just like, this is Tanya, and Tanya worked her ass off. And look at, this is footage from her winning a thing in high school. And this is her training. And oh, look, her mom died recently, so that's a sad point in her life.
Yeah.
And here's what's important to her. And now to the next person. Here's how hard they worked. Here's a sad thing in their life. Great. Next person. Here's how hard they work. Here's a sad thing in their life. Do it with regular ass people.
Yeah.
Do it at
There should be a wild card.
Yeah.
like 90 days before the Olympics.
Yeah.
The countries say these are the teams we're fielding. This is how many people, and a committee just pulls names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of a very big hat.
I think
Huge
it should,
hat.
I think it should be
the Olympic hat.
Yeah.
Here's how you do it. Like how many contests are there in the Olympics?
The many.
Like 100?
Let's say 100.
There's so many.
I think that however many countries there are, each country has like the big spinning ball thing.
Yeah.
And they have a person, and then they have a second one that's the
Event
that
Yeah.
they have to do. And every
love it.
country just has to have one person in one event. Maybe 2 countries will have 2 wild cards in the same event. That would be amazing.
Just one random citizen.
I think one random citizen
I
overall.
want all random. All random fully.
Because that's how you tell like the health of the
country.
athletic
Yeah.
ability
Oh,
of a
that's
country.
That's what I'm
interesting.
saying.
Because you're getting an average, a cross section.
That's what I'm saying.
I think the wild card maybe to dip our toes in, and we work our way towards random citizens.
I think random citizens would
Random
be way
Citizens
more fun.
wins, yeah. And it's fun because, like I said, maybe you do luck out and you get somebody who's really good at that thing.
Yeah.
And then everybody's pumped. They're
Yeah.
like, oh shit. It's like getting the best player in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people would be pumped. But then there's also like going down the line of like, well, this is the person doing the high dive. This is Steve. He just lost custody of his children.
And,
it's him waving at the hi kids.
Tanya.
Running the marathon is Chuck's papa. He is 98
Tanya,
years old.
don't listen to what your mother said. Call me.
Hi Tanya, your mother's a liar. But I don't want to take it out on you.
I'll pull a private bit into the podcast right here because Brad goes crazy for the draft every year.
I
you
do.
know?
Yeah.
It's the beginning of his
The Vietnam one, right?
of
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
circular.
you were famously pro Vietnam War draft.
Still am.
Yeah. You picketed the picketers.
Yeah.
You protested the protesters.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
You're in a deleted scene of Forrest Gump.
Yes.
You pushed Forrest out of the way.
I also chanted, hey, LBJ, how many kids are you going to kill today? But I was like, positive.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Come on, everybody. 4,
Yeah.
5. No, so
Brad's famous catchphrase, they ought to just napalm the whole place.
so basically every year he gets back into his
I was
circular
talking about the 1968 Democratic Convention.
this circular abusive relationship with the Bears.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you go down the abusive relationship checklist,
Yeah.
Bears and Brad, 100. They score 100 on it. And he goes,
It's the only thing they score 100 on.
and,
Yeah, Brad has a worse relationship with bears than that guy that got eaten in that documentary.
Grizzly man.
I love that. Oh man.
So he was talking about the draft, and me and Brad, obviously, I always try to cheer him up when he starts talking about the Bears. I try to bring
Yeah.
some jokes in and make it light. And
Never works.
And I go, imagine if they were like, and this year's quarterback for the Chicago Bears, and Brad's like, come on. And Urlacher, I don't know who a good quarterback is, and they go, Brad Roar? And he goes, oh my God, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then he grabs a weight and goes, and the idea that he was just randomly
no.
draft,
Yeah.
and he tries to do it.
I'm in.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd love
Yep.
that.
I would watch the shit out of the Olympics if it was regular people. Truly.
I wish I watched all the Bears games with Brad
No, you
because
don't.
he has some frustration issues.
Uh-huh.
You know, the stapler community has spoken out about it.
Yeah.
Staplers against Brad's
Brad.
throwing. And he gets
Saber.
he gets frustrated at video games alone at his house as well.
Yeah.
You know?
That happened in Starfield the other day.
But when we play together, he doesn't get frustrated.
No.
Because I go, we'll get him next time.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
so silly.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Yeah.
So if we watch the Bears game together, then he would be like, Urlacher, and he's punching his TV, and I'd be like, okay, next week we're gonna kill these
A
guys.
former friend tried that, and I like slammed his window shut. I'm like, you just don't understand.
That's true.
Man, I don't ever want to be
12 years
involved
ago.
in this happening.
It was
No, thank you.
It was a rough day,
Yeah.
but made it through. I didn't throw the cat. You know, it helps to have the cat asleep on my lap because I can't, gesticulate too much.
Anything to
I can't. I gotta start. I gotta put my staplers next to the couch.
After a year, Brady's still learning new things about Brad.
Yeah, before we started recording today, I said, I want to be clear. Like sometimes we'll go on a goof that's
Yep.
quote unquote like we're goofing on you.
Yes.
But often, I just enjoy like the bit of the thing.
Yeah, no, this is a
and
goof
it's like
on
an
me.
excuse. But then these kinds of things happen where I'm just like, I'm trying to keep things even.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
it is so stupid. Like I know that I should not be this emotionally invested,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: Like, I am 45 years old. I am unemployed. I haven't gotten an interview in the past 10 months. I haven't had a date in the past 9 months. And I was ghosted by a woman 3 weeks ago. And I wanted 3 hours that at the end of it, I could be happy for a week. And that didn't happen. Instead, I just spiraled more and more into despair. The cat this morning threw up on my bear's rug. And I'm like, yes, Rosie, you get it.
And Brad gets down, he starts pissing on it.
Yeah.
Out of respect, I will not make a joke when you said spiraling down into despair. Earlier, I said you had Mount Despair,
Yeah.
and I won't say anything about it.
Yeah, it's a volcano.
Oh, okay. Well, it will erupt at some point, or as they say, jackalate.
Yes, it'll jaculate.
Cat's throwing up, and he's like, fuck yeah.
I took a picture of it and sent it to the Bears subreddit, and I'm like, this is dumb, and I deleted it.
Oh man,
This is what my cat thinks of their performance.
I like the idea
yesterday.
of like the, like the fucking what do they call them?
Mods.
No. Somebody that works for the team, like taking in the
Oh,
towel.
like the equipment manager.
The
or
equipment
something.
manager's like, hey, did you guys see what Brad Rohr posted? And all the Bears in the locker room are like, oh, dude, he's right. He's right. We really fucked up today.
I will say,
They know.
there was a pretty lofty employer that reached out and hired you for a specific gig.
It's Chuck. Chuck hired me.
I heard bad things about working.
Yeah, no.
It's
I'm,
okay.
I'm really. I just document.
Well, if you're
document
gonna
everything.
Yeah.
work with me, you're gonna do what I say.
Oh God, I don't like any of this.
Hello and welcome to another episode of
Thank
Funbearable. My name is Brad Rohr.
I'm intro edging Ray Harrington.
Bear down usually means like, yeah, we're going for the Bears. It's Brad when he has a heart attack after game. Bear down!
Oh boy,
A lot of clips
Yeah.
from this first. How long was our intro?
25 minutes. It's half the fucking episode. I am so upset about it because like halfway through I was like, I don't think we're actually going to do an intro to this episode. And what's funny is we talked for a decent amount of time about what we were going to
still
cover
got
in
it.
this
We still got
episode.
it.
No, I know. That's so fun. We're just like, let's have an entire conversation about
The
sports,
philosophy of sports.
all of sport, all of it.
So, by the way,
By the way, one of my episode ideas for Funbearable was to have you guys do an NFL preview,
I'd love to.
and not being sports fans, but the
Yeah.
season has started.
I'd love to do it. We could do it next year. We have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm Chuck Staten, by the way. I know you guys did your intros. I think there's a lot of good things about like the fact that Finn is getting into basketball.
Yeah.
To me, there's so much great stuff about responsibility, like dedication to something, kind of having to exist in like a new societal kind of group as opposed to just school. I think there's a lot of stuff that's great about
Sure,
that.
yeah.
It is tough when it's like the parents are like, you little piece of shit, here's what you're gonna fucking do
Yeah.
5 hours a day. I hate that.
It's terrible.
But I do think that in general, organized sports are good.
Yeah.
And I think that even liking a thing is good, but I look at it so much like liking a band or a movie
Yeah.
that it's hard for me to get invested to the point where I'm angry.
You were angry at the end of Jurassic World 3.
That was sad. Really blew it. I don't want to see a movie about grasshoppers.
You threw a stapler at the screen.
That's like, here. He gave me a bag of them.
Oh yeah, you were. There was that period of time where you bought a bunch of staplers and you were trying to do a merch thing. With
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes.
And then you said it was just the shipping killed.
Drawing my face on it.
Brad's
Yeah.
throwing staplers. They're called.
I do want to say this really quickly. This was going to be my quick
Yeah, do
intro
it.
thing.
Oh yeah. You have an intro.
Quickie.
half hour
Give me a
ago.
quickie.
Well, no. So are you ready for this?
Yes.
I was going about my day,
Okay.
just having my business, and all the M apostrophe things were happening, and I stopped suddenly, and I thought this, and then it gave me a business idea. Okay, so your
Industrious.
Professor Good
Dr.
Ideas,
Genius?
Dr. Genius.
Yeah, Professor Good
Brilliant
Idea.
notions with Dr. Genius.
Dr. Genius. I am Professor Good Ideas.
Where's your
So,
mirror thing?
I don't need it. I use a
You're not
flashlight.
accredited?
I use a flashlight.
Okay. Is that what it's for? For light?
Yeah.
It's just a mirror, though.
Yeah, it reflects.
Yeah, because it
light.
reflects the light right
Can't
to
we
where
just
you
put a
want
light
it.
on here?
because they're from before that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could just use one of these?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
You can use a headlamp like a hiker.
That doesn't seem so doctory.
Exactly.
Ah.
That's what they say.
Maybe you
Say
use
ah.
the headlamp. I use the mirror.
Right. Yeah, and you use a drill that goes like this
Yeah.
on their skull.
Yeah.
You got too much pressure in there.
I think I do. I think I could
Yeah.
stand to be. Is it trepanned?
I can't remember.
Brad has leeches all
I
over
know
his
how to
face.
spell it. I do not know how to say it.
Okay.
So here's
I could go for some leeches.
here's the thought that I had that
Professor,
brought
good
me
idea.
to the idea
Yes.
of a business, all right, or a service, really.
Good.
The thought was this: just going about my day. What's this? Text from Chuck. Ignore. Right, no, I'm just kidding. What's this? Nudes from Brad. Save for later. So,
Forward to Chuck.
forward to Chuck. A lot of responses from Chuck. Ignore.
Send to actual doctor.
Yeah. So Smithsonian.
The Michael Jackson estate has put a bid in.
Love an Elephant Man reference.
Yeah, that's fun.
Or you
kids,
bubble.
kids go to the Smithsonian and they get to like touch a little piece of your foreskin. They get some moon rock.
It's clammy.
Ugh.
Little piece of your.
So here was the idea. This episode is not
Yeah.
one yet. Right? So I was going about my day.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I stopped and went, Where's the fat little Star Wars kid that was flipping around in that studio?
Oh yeah.
What's he doing today?
Yes.
What's happening to this boy that's now a man? Remember him?
Yes.
Remember fat Star Wars kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Chocolate
people
Rain.
put in this thing. Zzz,
Yep.
Yeah.
Chocolate Rain. That's a
They're
different
around
guy.
the same time.
Yes. Yeah. I was thinking about that, and I was like, genuinely, I don't know where he is. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Right? I had a real thought of, I hope this boy is okay.
I think he changed schools and things got better.
Okay.
Oh, were things bad?
Yeah,
I thought he
of
was
course.
just. I thought he was just famous like any other.
I think he was relentlessly bullied
Yeah.
when it first
Can you
came
imagine being in high school as a fat boy who likes Star Wars and
Yes.
then Yeah, I know. That's what I was going for. But you make that video and then that goes across the globe, right?
Yeah. No. I could see how this may go south.
I don't think this is going to work out in my favor, right? Hey, everyone knows me and laughs at me, but I didn't make any money for it.
Yep.
Right? You can't monetize it other than being like,
I know.
hey, it's me, that guy.
Yep.
Right? Just roadside attraction. That's what happens with every viral person.
Right.
South Park did a whole episode about that guy, Chocolate Rain, all of them, and that debate.
Oh,
about
okay.
like numbers versus what does this mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, and the fact that that's who they are, right?
Yeah.
And then that's their life.
Yeah.
It is interesting where sometimes you'll see someone try to monetize it. The one that sticks in my head the most is the fucking Peter Griffin Family guy.
We see him all the
he's
time.
He's at cons.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I've never met the guy. I don't know if he's cool or not, but I would say like, yeah, we get it.
We've given him
We
some
get it.
some up nods.
Oh, okay.
We've
Hey,
given
what's
some
up?
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
No down
you
nods.
know, I look like Peter Griffin.
I know.
Isn't that funny? Interesting. I look like the cartoon guy.
Yep. That's
It's funny because
You know?
there actually is like incentive to monetize it now. I wonder what
Yeah.
happens to the fat Star Wars. I mean, nothing. I'm sure nothing happens.
Yeah.
But that kid with I don't know how many million views, he's not going to make any money
That's what I mean. Yeah,
from 20 years ago.
So I am curious. Like, is he okay? What's he doing?
Sure.
Where did he end up? He was in high school at that time. That boy is a man.
Yes.
I want to know where Fat Star Wars man is. Right.
Yeah.
Is he watching Ahsoka? Right.
Yes. Right.
What's going on with
I would
him?
imagine
What if
so.
now he's just like,
no, I'm done.
Star Wars is not what
Yeah.
it used to be, which I wouldn't be surprised, right?
That's probably-
maybe he's Marvel Man now,
No, I bet.
right?
Yeah.
He's got to compete with you.
Right?
If you
Marvel
had a
Man.
video camera in that studio in high school and Marvel movies were out, that video would have been you with a trash can lid pretending to be Captain America.
Well, first of all, we used to film ourselves backyard wrestling and sell it in my school.
Right.
Which is very
yeah.
similar.
Sure. So my question was that about Fat Star
Right.
Wars boy.
Yeah.
Then I was like, is Grape Lady okay?
Oh, grape
Oh.
lady.
Grape stomping lady.
She didn't look okay.
She didn't look okay when it
No.
happened, and she
No.
worked as a news person. Did she end up having to leave her job because she became a viral video? Nobody's going to take her seriously.
Wow.
Because she was the lady for a remote on the news who fell over and went like that. It was so fucking funny.
It was the funniest thing.
It truly was.
I really feel guilty about how much I laughed.
Nope,
but like
it's okay.
that reaction was so bizarre. It was so.
Well, she got the
strange.
wind knocked out of her.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Right.
Have you ever gotten the wind knocked out of you?
Not in a long time.
It's insane.
It is.
The feeling of it is wild. It's like your brain skipped, the record scratched, and now you don't remember how to breathe.
Right.
Dude, when I was backyard wrestling, I'm not going to crazy bringing this back up.
When I was BYW,
We used to wrestle on mattresses, and it used to like outside. We used to wrap them in tarps.
I
and
do
it-
that sometimes.
and it was all. It was all like it was mostly for comedy.
Same.
But we would do like instead of being like how there was like the weird like barbed wire glass for backyard stuff.
Yeah.
We were like I'd go up to the camera and I'd stick my fingers in like a lemon and then poke Jordan in the eyes.
Oh, that's fun.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, funny.
Stoogey.
One
Yeah.
time I opened Doritos and I emptied them out and I slammed Jordan on it. He goes, those were extra spicy. You know, it's
No, that's
funny
fun.
stuff like that.
That's goof.
It was silly.
I like, yeah. It was Your Honor. It was silly.
Because we're not like, oh, it's cool to cut ourselves. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't take real pain. But we were doing one where we were selling it to the school and we had got pre-orders and everything.
Yeah.
And Lou gave me a rock bottom, which is essentially like a choke slam, but it's across your chest.
Yeah.
And the table didn't work, so like we didn't have legs for it. He was doing it through a table. So two people held it, but they held it really high. Like they probably held it like this, but they were standing. So it's probably 5 feet in the air. And I'm like, well, we're filming this. I gotta really take it. So I jumped, no mattress. This is straight to the hard ground outside.
Yeah.
And he slammed me down, probably from me jumping up and like 5 feet to the ground. And when my back hit the ground, I was like, I hope I stop living in less than 3 seconds because I can't take this. And it
Yeah.
was exactly
Yeah.
that feeling. And I went,
Yeah.
never should have mic'd me.
No. And it was weird how you like turned on your side and started running, so you spun in circles, like curly. Yeah. Paramedics show up and they're like, "Damn, we have only seen this like 3 times."
They're like, all right, we got to wait for him to stop.
So do you want to get the paddles ready? For me?
He seems to be okay. He's asked me to pick 2 of his fingers.
Hey, where's that lemon?
So here's my service.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The service is this. It's a website. You type in the viral video person from the early aughts, most likely.
Yep.
And you hit enter, and it just gives you a quick update on how they're doing. That's all I want to know.
Yep.
I don't need an interview.
That's great.
I don't need to know how much this impacted their lives, all that stuff. It's all very samey. I just want to know where they are right now.
Okay, so that's a great Professor Good idea. Let me geniusify it.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? How about this? I wish I had my
This
thing.
is Chuck looking at a crock pot and gluing dildos to it. I geniusified it.
By the way,
What if you get
You're never gonna guess what I call it. I call it a cock pot.
what if you get horny when you're slow cooking?
why is that?
Yeah, why is that your accent? Hey, it's me,
It's
Chuck State.
it's too much time in Staten Island.
Yeah. Now I'm Chuck Staten.
So here's my genius. I'm going to geniusify your idea.
All right.
We make this website.
Yes.
Everyone's going there looking for
Porn.
positive news.
Positive news.
We just make them all up.
Yeah. Oh,
just to give a
negative
peace
shit?
of mind. All good stuff.
Oh,
for
okay.
peace of mind.
Yeah.
So we say, babe, what happened to the Star Wars kid? You know what? He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He joined Star Wars. He's under that rubber mask in Episode 3
Sure.
of Mandalorian.
Yeah. He's Garth Maul.
$1 million.
Yeah.
I geniusified it.
So you're geniusification is just lie.
Oh, most of the Dr. Genius ideas have to do with some sort of deception.
That's heavily litigatable.
I do actually. I have another 2 Dr. Genius ideas, but I wanted to come to the table with some more.
You don't have
for
your
some fun.
strap.
I don't have my
You
thing.
don't have
We'll
your
do it
strap.
another day.
Yeah.
I got to get 2. There's one in New York, one here.
But that is my idea, and I genuinely would check that site once in a while.
Oh, dude.
Like it just popped into my head where I'm like, where's this fat little boy?
You know what would be funny? AreTheyOkay.com.
Yeah,
That's not
that's
bad.
great. I love it.
Are they
I
okay?
feel like
And for
every-
everybody.
Oh, that's too much,
Chuck.
That's too much.
No.
Manson. Nah, he's bad.
How about we say it's everybody, but we're slowly getting around to it all, so most of them come up as just unknown.
It's the we're working on it with a little construction guy from 1997.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, they have Ray Harrington.
And Chuck Staten. And Star Wars kid.
Still working on it.
Refresh.
I went to the Brad page and it changes like hourly.
I made the mistake of checking the Brad page on a Sunday afternoon.
The Brad page is set up more like an air health monitor,
Yes.
right? Like the air quality index or whatever.
Stay indoors, avoid Brad whenever possible.
Yeah, that's great. So
That's funny.
well, thanks for listening. We have not done any of the things we planned. No, this is fun. We're good. We're at 40.
Yeah,
fine.
we're okay.
We're living life.
One of the things I wanted to bring up, and we're kind of wrapping up the fact that we hit our year mark, so we did the big 2 mail sack episodes. And one of the things I wanted to bring up to you guys that I did bring up in an email, I figured I'd just throw it out in the podcast, is like when we had the Chuck and Brad podcast, every year we'd go back and look at the past year and say, what are our favorite things? What is the stuff that didn't hit as much? What should we do more of? What should we do less of? And so I just want to say, if anyone wants to write in that are listeners, the Fun Bears, write in at funbearablepod@gmail.com. What would you like to see more of? Do you have any criticisms? Do you have any ideas? You can tell us. Just keep it nice. Keep it nice. But I think that's a good idea to just kind of keep making the podcast better.
Sure.
And keep doing cool
Absolutely.
stuff. And I will say, looking back, which I did, one thing that we did was create pretty big shoes to fill from October 1st to December 26th.
Sure. Yeah,
We did 4 Christmas episodes, 4 Halloween episodes, and a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah. And we've been talking about Halloween and some things coming up, so that's exciting.
I think that we'll have no problem doing it because
Yeah.
I think 2 of the Christmas episodes are pretty casual.
Yeah.
I really loved We Pitch You a Merry Christmas, and I'd love to keep that going. I think that's fun, just coming up with random ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the Halloween episodes was very casual, which I think we're going to keep going. Mm-hmm. And we have a bunch of really cool plans of stuff that we.
I think we should call them Holiday Name Cash
Holiday Name Cash
for those episodes.
CAZH.
Sure.
Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Halloween Cash.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
know what I mean?
Halloween
It's like
Cash.
business casual.
What do you guys
Halloween
think about
casual.
fucking werewolves like that?
I don't know.
Eh.
They're all right.
All right, thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in.
Thanks a lot. I think vampires are pretty mid. Bye. Right? So dumb.
no statement.
I do have a question. Vampires.
Yes.
Here's part of the rules. Let the right one in, right?
Right?
I will.
You gotta invite them in
Yes.
to your home.
That's
They
why,
can't. They cannot.
That's
come
why
in.
I'm safe, because I don't want anyone coming to my home.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
If any vampires are black, but
Blade.
oh no,
Blackula.
oh no,
Neither of them welcome at the Roar
Tiresias.
household.
Go away. So
Is
to
it
be
because we're black or because we're vampires?
yes,
Let's say vampires.
Oh, then I'm going to get canceled
more
by
accepted.
the vampires.
you got vampsoled.
Yes.
What?
Vampho.
No, to be clear, the joke that I said there was the idea that you don't want people of color in your home.
Right,
And
right.
it's a joke.
It is a full on
Yeah, no,
100%
I don't
joke.
want any people in my
His
home.
cat's
Yeah,
black.
yeah.
Yeah. I can't be. I can't be.
What am I?
racist.
I mean, my cat is black.
Is that Chuck Staten?
Chuck Staten? He
By the
can't
way-
be racist.
By the way,
okay.
Chuck Staten is me. Chuck Staten is the Chuck that spent too much time in Staten Island.
Come on, my fucking dog's mother is half Jewish. Come on.
My cat's
Can't say I'm anti-Semitic.
Cat-
What does that even mean?
biracial. She's a tuxedo cat.
This is ridiculous. Oh, vampires. Here's my
Vampires.
question.
Let the right one in. Yeah.
This episode is like if we all made a bet who could go the longest without getting to
A topic.
the actual stuff, right?
Yeah.
You have to let a vampire in. You have to invite them into your home.
Right.
You could have a Dracula at your door.
No thanks.
And he's standing at the mat. And he's like, just let me in the house. And you could be staring right at him and go, no.
Yeah.
And he can't do anything, right?
Right.
Can't do anything.
Right.
Powerless.
Right.
That reminds me of a fun scene in a BBC show called Being Human. It was great for 2 seasons and then terrible. But it was a fantastic show about a ghost, a vampire, and a werewolf living together.
You told me about this.
Yeah. But there's a great scene where the head bad vampire is literally standing at the door and talking to them.
I love
Right.
playing
And
with
he's
that lore.
so angry and he's like raging, but can't cross that threshold.
That's
And
cool.
it was great. And at one point he reaches in and grabs somebody, and it's a good thing. But here's my question: that rule was made
Perpetrated.
up
Yeah.
Right.
when cores were not really a big deal.
Good question.
Can a vampire get in your car without you saying hop in?
I
think so.
no, I don't.
I don't think so. I think
don't
a car is an extension of your home.
Ooh.
I think so too.
Tell that to my insurance company.
No, they would.
Well, how many people have you run over with your home?
They would though, because if you have your laptop and it resides in your home, it's covered by your home insurance. And if it gets stolen from your car, your home insurance has to replace it. That's the
So
truth. Did you know
tell that to a Dracula.
Oh, well, guess what? That's the truth.
All
Yeah,
right.
a Dracula's at your car door, and you're like, according to the insurance company, you can't come in here. Oh, you got me this time. Right? It just drifts back into the shadows.
Here's
Damn
how-
you, Geico.
All right. So
This is Halloween Cash, by the
there's
way.
a
This is Halloween Cash.
there's a vampire at Chuck's door.
We should have saved it.
And
it.
Chuck's like, no, you can't come in. You're not welcome.
Yeah.
And
You're
the
too old.
and the vampire's like, I'm only 19.
100.
And so the vampire's like, ah, and Chuck walks back into the living room, and I'm like, who is that? And Chuck's like, no, hey, can you grab something out of my car? And then I walk outside, and I'm immediately eaten by the vampire.
Phew.
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I
that's-
become a vampire.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Well, no, only if that vampire chooses to change you.
Oh,
or
I'd be
turn
dead.
You.
I'd be eaten.
I read a cool thing that I told Brad about. I didn't tell Ray about this yet.
Oh, here comes your Bible talk again.
I actually.
Oh.
I never watched the movie Dracula 2000. I'm not
Yeah.
super interested in vampires. I'm not that I'm closed off, but I'm not
Except for the Cullens.
right. And
You're a vampist?
Dracula 2000, I don't really know that much about it, but it didn't do well.
Yeah.
But so they give a reason in that movie that Silver kills a vampire, and you find out that Dracula in that movie was Judas, who turned in Jesus
Oh, for the 30 pieces of silver. Yeah.
and that's why he has this curse.
Okay.
And that being a vampire
Sure,
is a
that's
curse
fun.
from God. I'm like, that's a cool origin. I like
Yeah.
that idea. I think
Yeah, that
that's-
works.
To find that out at the end, I think is actually a really fun writing thing.
No, that's for sure. That's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my genuine question. Can a vampire, if we're saying let's pretend vampires are real,
Right.
Let's pretend the rules are the rules.
Yeah.
Which I do think the rules are funny for vampires because it comes from back when like folklore was like a thing, and most people were completely fucking illiterate and just told stories to each other.
Yep.
And so you got a lot of folk magic.
Yeah.
America has a huge history of folk magic,
Yep.
which is kind of funny considering how we view a lot of that stuff now.
Right.
Like Christian America
Oh.
is just like that's of the devil. It's like, well, all the people that you think were awesome and we should live like back in the day,
Yeah.
they thought like if you wrapped some hair from your neighbor around a stick and buried it, like the thing would kill them and not you. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway,
Yeah.
can a vampire
Yeah.
get in your car?
I say
do they need
yes.
to be invited?
I think when you have a protected space that is yours,
Yeah.
that is the bubble. That's
Could
my
you
thought.
then by that definition though? Let me play devil's vampires advocate here.
Yeah.
That's vampires advocate. I would watch that show.
It's the sequel to
A Lawyer for Vampires?
Yeah, that's funny.
Blade Esquire? Are you kidding me?
TM Funbearable.
I really like that idea of Blade in a suit. And he's just like, Your Honor. And he's got the teeth still with the wraparound sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's Wesley Snipes now.
And
Yeah.
it's
We can
Wesley
get him
Snipes,
cheap.
and he keeps bumping into stuff, and they're like, "Are you that blind lawyer?" He's like, "No, I just
No,
didn't
that's
wear
it.
these
Yeah,
inside."
I can't see. By that argument, you could say you could take a stick and just draw a circle around you in the dirt and go, "This is my bubble. This is my space. You can't come in." Right?
I think it's
different.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little less defined.
I fall on if vampires were real and that was the rule, they can't get in your car.
I
That's
think
how I
so.
view that. How do you view it?
I mean, you know what? I was of the idea that they could, but I've changed my mind. I'm flipping and flopping.
Whoa.
I'm going to say vampires cannot get in my car.
This waffle became a pancake.
Can I give one more wrinkle to this little cloth?
Absolutely.
Boat.
A boat.
An open, like a
They
rowboat.
can't cross water.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, they can't cross running water. There was a plot of a real
Running water
Ghostbusters
or
episode.
water?
I
What is the difference?
I thought it was like they can't cross like a river.
Yeah, they can't cross a river.
What if I have it in a lake?
But how do they get across it? There has to be a way they can.
Right.
Right.
Well, the new movie that just came out, The Last Voyage of the Demeter,
Yeah.
is about them transporting Dracula
Dracula.
from Transylvania to the United States. I don't
Yeah.
know where, but it's from the actual Dracula original novel, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 paragraphs in the book.
Yeah, and they're like, we
It's a
can
great
make this,
concept. I started watching it the other day, but I got to finish it.
Boat Drac.
Boat Drac. That's that one.
Remember from the
E3.
80s, we watched that show? It's Dracula, but he solves crimes, and he lives on a houseboat. It's
They're
called Boat
doing a
Drac.
crossover.
Yeah.
With vampires advocate.
Oh, my God. Remember that episode of MacGyver that they did like a swap?
Yep.
And MacGyver had to deal with vampires, and then Boat Drac had to deal with
And I do a
Moriarty.
bomb. Yeah.
It had to do with gum wrappers and paper clips.
Okay, I guess I will chew this gum.
Oh, this is much better.
Oh,
He
wow.
likes it better than blood.
This is... I've never tried this. This is great.
That's funny.
All right, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was going to talk about was...
Please.
Yeah. So if I didn't know if you guys had anything that you're like, well, I think the fun stuff, the best stuff we did was this, and I think we should do more of this or less of this. I didn't know if you guys had anything off the top of your head.
I think being more strict with like how we structure an episode is probably something.
Why would that come up now?
I think a half hour before the intro is probably too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think we like to play loosey goosey, but I think the goose died.
The goose was too loose.
That goosey is terminally loosey.
When we were done with that goose, you know how loose it was.
That goose looked like a crime scene.
Hey, I saw a goose limping out of the Funbearable podcast studio.
That goose will never lay another egg.
The eggs just fall out and crash.
Which goose do you think was the loose one?
It's in a cast. It has a
Right?
so.
It won't eat any breadcrumbs.
So I think the holidays traditions we've started.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm really happy.
I
with
love them.
I
I love
think
them.
they're great. I think
Yeah.
we've talked about it a little bit. We got to bring the porch thing back. That was so fun.
Yeah.
We got to do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
All that stuff's fun. And I had an idea that I did not pitch to you guys for a Halloween episode, but I was like, you know what? We already have so much for Halloween. This belongs in another part of the year, and I think it might be fun to come up with a couple different things like that.
Arbor Day.
It doesn't have to be necessarily holiday themed,
Okay.
but something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Even if it became like, Brad's birthday is in July. If we did something around Brad's birthday every year, that'd be really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that'd be cool. But yeah, so there's some of that stuff that I think is
Yeah.
fun. And one of the things I wanted to kind of bring back a little bit that we talked about, that I wrote to you in an email, was like, some people have written me and they're like, oh man, you guys used to talk about like the creative things you were consistently doing. You should like, I liked hearing about that and hearing about how things are progressing.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to bring that back a little bit, especially because we've been working on stuff. We're going to keep some of it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But then there's other stuff that we're going to work on together soon.
That's true.
That's
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, we got tapped to shoot the Oscars this year.
Yeah.
They said they're trying anything at this point.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Brad has a whole drone idea.
That opening monologue, though, is going to be
You think Ricky Gervais was dirty?
Oh, I just meant it's going to go on for hours.
Yeah.
And then the show can start.
Oh, and welcome to the Oscars.
Oh,
This is how it ends. Yeah.
And presenting the award for Best Actor is the Goose from Funbearable. It's limping out to the stage.
They immediately start playing it off. Get the goose out! Get the goose out!
We cannot show that on television.
You
Don't
can't
let
cut
it
him
turn
off. He's
around.
thanking God. Get the goose out!
Wait, no, he's cursing God.
Oh, shit. Yeah, cut it. Quick, have Amy Schumer come out on a string.
It's just Blur and then like the gooseneck above it.
That's funny.
That is great.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about this.
It gets stuck on the microphone that comes up from the stage, and like you see it slowly getting lifted up, and the blur is going up, and then you see little blurs dropping off of it.
Poor goose.
Benicio del Toro is standing next to it, like,
Yeah, it's cutting to the audience shots, and it's everyone.
yeah. But there's somebody that has to present with
it,
the goose,
yeah.
and they're just looking at the prompter, like, it's your turn, do it. That's right, Goose. Special effects are very important, and without them, so many scenes couldn't happen. This year's not. That's right, Goose. This year's nominations for special effects are. Is somebody gonna no? All right.
Turn off his mic. Turn off his mic.
They're sharing a mic. I can't turn off the goose's mic without turning off Benicio's mic.
All right, Brad, you got to overdub for Benicio del Toro.
Okay.
The director's like, somebody get Jimmy Kimmel a rotisserie chicken. Now we have a great joke. Go, move. Oh, he's gonna make a meal of it. All right, fuck this. What are we doing?
That's funny. That's just fun. We're having fun.
This episode is a fever dream.
Yeah, it's great.
I like it, but it's good.
Well, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff
Yes.
we're doing, and like obviously, people know that I work on the Tell 'em Steve Dave stuff. That stuff's been fun, and I'm actually doing a 5th Halloween episode with the Tell 'em Steve Dave guys.
Oh, fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be the history of Baron von Flanagan for a show that I host on the Patreon here and there called the Tesdy Tapes. The Tuesdays stuff. I'm working with the Tuesdays guys for a long time, and it's pretty consistent. But there's been a bunch of developments. I feel like I can talk about it a little bit because Quinn has talked about it on Tell 'em Steve Dave. Working with Quinn from Practical Jokers, he pulled me into a project, and we're not going to talk about the exact project, but I was tasked with like setting up a team to shoot something, and Ray's going to be on the team, and Brad's going to be on the team, which is
I'm
killer.
gonna be the weak link. I'm gonna fucking tear it down.
I am a double agent.
I'm a triple agent.
But
Whoa.
I'm excited that we get to all work together.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're bringing in Rupert, who's helped on Funbearable, and he's a
Yeah.
wicked nice guy. A lot of people that are great. And Steve from Rupert's podcast
Yeah.
is going to be on the shoot as well.
I'm literally only doing it to establish a pattern. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm doing it so I can have officially worked under Chuck
Yep.
for this project, which is under a larger umbrella of people with like money.
Right.
And then I can say this toxic development happened on the set, quote unquote.
Right.
These are the problems and lay them out very clearly.
Yep.
And then just wait for that sweet money to come
Good
in.
thinking.
you go. That's
I'm
one
doing it to establish an alibi because I'm going to be committing a crime,
Don't say it.
but it will be discovered when I am working on this shoot.
Yeah.
And very visible.
Yeah.
I'm
So
already writing my letter of whatever. For,
Yes.
And another thing that's kind of cool is that a couple years ago, I was tasked with going to Ohio to shoot a sizzle for something.
Yeah.
And they said, you can hire whoever you want to bring with you. And I said, I'm bringing this guy.
fourth choice.
And Brad...
Fourth choice.
Ray was asked. That's true.
That is true. Yeah.
But
I turned it down.
But Brad and I went to Ohio. We shot this sizzle.
Yeah.
The sizzle got sold to like a huge network.
Yeah.
And they're filming the whole season right now, and that's going to air early 2024.
That's
so
awesome.
when that comes
Yeah.
out, when it's announced, we can have a big talk about it because we've
Yeah.
never been able to talk about
And
it in
that's
public.
Real Housewives of Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of chili, a lot of skyline.
Yeah.
Like the Skyline families versus the Gold Star families.
is.
It's a
Yeah.
mess.
Skyline's paying for it, so I'm not sure it'll be exactly.
And isn't Prince pasta?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a lot of stake in it.
Well, no, like the chili.
STEAK. AreTheyOkay. That's what I mean.
Yeah, there's a lot of steak in that chili that goes on that paschetti.
Yes. But yeah, so those two things are kind of in the works. I just got pulled into another project with Sal and Casey Jost from Impractical Jokers 2 that we just did, and that was awesome. We just filmed something very, very fun that I hope goes further as well. But that's kind of what things have been happening, and I kind of feel like between now and January, I think there's going to be some changes in my life and in my schedule and the way that I have to work and stuff like that. But
Probation, yeah.
it's been good, and I hope, on top of that, there is a big thing I hope that we get to talk about someday about the three of us working on this thing that we came up with all summer, this concept that we spent a lot of time on, that I'm like super proud of. All of our involvement, all of our ideas is part of it, and it was a real surreal experience, and something that I think is hopefully going to continue, and we're going to be able to figure out new paths for it. But a lot of really cool stuff has been happening that's really good, and I hope we all get to kind of take advantage of it, move up, stuff like that. We just did a big car episode of Tuesdays with Stories. That was really, really fun. It's similar to the Funbearable car episode, and I think I even went further into the way that I did the audio. And now, like, if we want to do car episodes, I got so many messages from, like, audio technicians. Yeah. Like, I work in sound professionally. I don't know how you got the sound out of this.
Yeah, that's great.
So we can do that whenever we need to, which
sure.
I think is really fun. Maybe we'll even do it when you guys come to New York this month. And But a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of stuff's moving forward. And it's been awesome working with you guys all summer.
Yeah.
On top of the podcast for the past year, which I looked back at all the episodes, which we did about 60 in the first year because we had a bunch of bonuses.
Yeah.
Super proud of the podcast
For
output.
sure, yeah.
Like, not only with the quality of the actual stuff we put out, like technically, but I think the podcast has been really funny. Like, I'm really, really proud of it.
Yeah.
And I think that the three voices are balanced. And I did want to say this is my main point. I think the main draw of people coming back to the podcast, this guy. I really think that.
The main
I
draw
could
of
see
people
that for
coming back
sure.
to the podcast is they want to see Doug Key just be so bored playing a Fast and Furious board game at this table.
I really think that, though. I think that you bring something weird to the podcast that isn't represented on other podcasts.
I could see that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some sort of heart and vulnerability to this man's noggin.
Like P.T. Barnum and P.T. Bailey bringing a freak show to tour the country.
No.
I'm a wild man of Borneo.
He's Martin Luther King's doctor. Is that what he said he was? That's one of the things P.T. Barnum
I think
did.
it's Wild Man of Boringo.
But I really feel like there's some sort of weird heart.
Yeah.
In real
That's
life.
what the doctor said. No. You know what I think it is too, truly, like, and this is a weird, like, we're patting ourselves on the back, but I think, like, if you pulled any one of us out of it, the chemical is off.
Right.
It's different.
Because the chemistry that is the three of us, what each of us bring to the table. Like, if you're gone, it's just Chuck and I fighting and, like, our egos clashing and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah.
If I'm gone, I think it gets maybe a little more insular and almost like the two of you just meet up and read each other's diaries to each other.
Yeah. I like that too.
And I think if Chuck's gone, I think we could probably finally get some shit done.
Yeah.
But no.
Everything that you guys would say wouldn't be genius-fied.
It would be genius-fied. Your new character is great. No. I do think we would miss, like, some of the wackier elements
too.
of it, you know?
Me too.
So I think the three of us work really well together.
Me too.
I like that. It also frightens me. Does that make sense?
Why is that?
Like you were saying, like, the things that scare you also kind of draw you in.
Yeah.
I think working within this little ecosystem of the three of us,
Frightening.
whatever chemical we create, I'm scared of it. But
Why are you
I'm
scared
also
of it? Why are you
drawn
scared
to
of it?
I'm scared of it. I don't want to lose myself to it. I think that's the thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like what? What does that mean?
Well, I think when I'm on this podcast, given our chemistry,
Yeah.
I play a certain role.
Me too.
And I
Me too.
enjoy,
I actually feel a little bit like this too.
Yeah, I enjoy being that on this podcast. Were it to be the me forever, I would not like that.
Right.
What if
You
one
know?
episode,
We
someday,
switch.
maybe
We just
April,
rotate?
maybe the first week of April every year,
We all
switch
are
personalities.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That's a recipe for disaster.
It's going to hurt some feelings.
Yeah. That's a roast.
Mine. My feelings. Specifically.
We could do one left every year. So, like, this first year, Ray becomes Brad, I become Ray, Brad becomes me. Following year,
It's
I
so
become
dangerous.
Ray.
No.
Brad becomes. I can't figure it out.
We move one left again.
Yeah, I know.
So I would be Ray, you would be me, and Ray would be you.
That's pretty good. That's a fun April Fool's episode.
It's so dangerous, though.
Yeah.
It's you are playing with fire.
And we each bring in a topic. So we each get 20 minutes because it's 1/3 of an hour. As Brad
I think
is
it's
Chuck.
cute that you think it'll be an hour.
After all this time. yeah. But that would be a funny idea.
It would be bad. After
it
the
is
episode,
an idea.
whew,
Let me geniusify this.
Right.
We don't do it.
Yeah. That's like saying, it would be an interesting thing to do on the podcast if we all went away tonight and came back tomorrow with a list of 10 things we genuinely didn't like about the other people. Right.
Well, I will say, here's one thing I think. Over the past year, we've had to make a lot of creative decisions. I think the most intense creativity has come in the past, 8 weeks.
Sure.
In terms of, how we've worked on stuff together.
Yeah.
And I think we're way better at communicating and compromising than we were over, a year when we started this podcast.
Probably. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and Brad, when we first started working together, I think it took a while to, not get, hurt when it's oh, this idea isn't the best, so we're not going to use it.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to
best
get
idea
over.
wins.
Best idea wins. It's in theory, I think everyone goes, definitely. And then when they get in the room, they go, but wait a minute. My idea is the best.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's my idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think we've gotten really good at that. And again, I think Brad brings a heart to the podcast that I think is very unique to what we do. Because there's a lot of really funny podcasts out there.
Yeah.
But I think that the beast in man that Brad is a real signature Funbearable thing.
For sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Bert and Tom, if you need a third bear for your one cave.
But yeah.
So when did Bert
too.
and Ernie break up? I will say, building off of the the Q&A episodes, the emails,
Yes.
and comments and things like that. I did want to say quickly, it's gone.
Well, you had a terrible story that was written in.
Oh, now I remember. Can we cut what I forgot?
Yes.
Please,
Okay.
Craig, cut that. out.
Craig.
This isn't part of it.
By the way, let's give it up here. Craig Depina.
Yeah.
And Kyle Balgarin helps once in a while,
Absolutely.
but mostly Craig Depina. And
Craig
he's
has
been
been
killer.
fantastic,
He's
yeah.
been awesome editing the episodes, throwing stuff in. When
Yeah.
there was an episode where you threw in the 2 rats at the end.
Yeah.
with Brad following him
No,
out.
I love when Craig throws a thing in that's just an extra little
Yeah.
goof. I'm like, yes, do 30% more of that.
Yeah,
I love it.
He's great. Listen to
Yeah.
his podcast. Needless to say, he's a super funny guy, and he's a great dude.
He's a good people.
He's a good people.
He's a good
It's hard to
people.
meet a good people.
It is.
And I didn't know there was one living in the parking lot next to my house. And that's
That
Craig.
makes it sound
You know that he lives there, right?
significant. It's not in a
in
parking
the
lot.
parking lot?
See, next to my house is the church parking lot.
Yeah.
And at the back there's a house that's pink.
Okay.
That's where Craig lives.
Oh, okay.
Did
But
you
it's
know
a
that?
house. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
the parking
it's a
lot.
real
It's a
house.
house.
yeah.
From the front, it does look like a house. Yeah.
He's not the Quasimodo of Warren, Rhode Island.
That's me.
yeah,
He's more of a fan of the opera. He's smart enough to do a half mask.
In this story, the villagers were right.
Yes.
Yeah. But Jason Alexander's still there for some reason. I don't know. It's weird. No. So I wanted to say really quickly, a quick shout out to the Vermont Comedy Club because I was about to go there when we last recorded.
Yes.
Yes.
So much fun. Thank you to people coming out. Had a lot of fun. Had some listeners that were there, which was really nice. And
Killer.
That's just enjoyable. I really love the club, and it's always a pleasure to be there. I've realized this is part of kind of reflecting back. Only the last couple of episodes have I been like, I'm gonna be here,
Right.
And also, I really enjoyed that because
Me
I
too.
don't really talk about that because if
I think
this
you
was
should.
right, because if this was a podcast with other stand-up comedians,
You'd all be
we
pitching,
would be
yeah.
talking about where we're going, what we're doing. I haven't done that on this podcast because it's felt like, well, that's my thing that I do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do, but I think
Yeah.
that you should do that Brad always has improv shows
Yeah.
coming up, and I always have new projects.
Right,
And so I
right.
think we should do it as
Yeah.
often as it makes
Yeah,
sense.
this weekend, for example, I will be crying in the shower, just for hours at a time.
He's preemptively planning the Bears game.
It's the Buccaneers this week.
Now, like, is that a group thing? How many people are involved?
So one-man improv show.
Oh,
The cat will jump up and look, and then like lick her paw, and then jump down and go take a nap on the couch.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Tune in.
I'll be
That's live streamed, right?
streaming it
Yeah.
at typicalbradweekend.com.
Yeah, by the way, I think that also didn't come up naturally because sometimes we bank, so it's a little bit
Yeah,
harder.
yeah.
But most of the time we can figure out when that's going to come out.
Yeah,
so
for
we
sure.
can figure it out. But I love to do that.
And I'm also thinking just like, fuck it. And,
Yeah.
if I'm about to go to a place, I'll just say I'm about to go to that place.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
if it comes out at a different time, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really enjoyable. Had a wonderful experience. I always like going up to Burlington. It's a good time.
How many different places did you have to go to find a maple latte?
None, because I didn't have one. That's
Do you know
my
anyone
life.
who is?
Oh, I know a guy.
Can I say one more thing? But it's kind of sincere. You can shit all over it. If you,
Yeah, no.
Is it about a maple latte?
in January, we talked about goals for the year, and I said one of my biggest goals was to help my mom find a kidney.
Yeah.
I got reached out to by a great guy.
A fun bear?
His name is Alex. He's a great dude, and he's been going through the testing for it.
Yeah.
And he's spending 3 days in Rhode Island at Rhode Island Hospital this week to do more testing further for that.
That's
So,
really exciting.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. And I was like,
Alex, so wonderful.
Amazing.
You know, he
We've been
listens to the
texting,
podcast.
obviously,
He's
yeah.
great.
but
He's a
but
friend of mine from college.
I know.
So I get to lord it over you. If this goes through,
Yep.
amazing. Because I always get to say, deep down, it's because of me.
I mean, I thought
Alex, you're great. But I made the connection.
I thought we just established that I
How
was
about
the
a
heart
little-
of this podcast.
Turns
so
out
really,
I like the
I'm the
idea of-
kidney.
I like the idea. I like the idea about them in the hospital about to do the transplant, and you kind of come up and you're like, "How about a little finder's fee?"
Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about that too. Because, Alex, I know you listen to the show. I hope you're maybe watching or listening. I'm going to look at the camera in case you are watching. Alex, I think it's wonderful that you're doing this truly and genuinely and sincerely as well. So that's 3 things that mean the same thing. But, as a little goof, I'd like to say, before you sign any paperwork, organs are valuable. So let's talk. Let me help you get the most for what this is, because and this is true from what I've heard of you know the situation that your mother has been going through. It's a seller's market for sure when it comes to kidneys.
You want to hear a real fact that I found out this week?
Hit me.
So
vampires cannot donate kidneys.
when
Can a vampire enter you?
Ooh. Well, not without consent.
Consent.
Brad's like, "Come in." No, so my mom was talking to the people that are running the whole kidney operation thing.
Doctors.
Well, it's the hospital. It's the administrative part of it.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that you can
Office doctor.
You can reimburse people for like missed work time. You can reimburse
Yeah,
people
yeah.
for travel. You can't give them a penny more, or else it counts as buying.
Yeah.
organs.
What if you
Isn't that
leave a
interesting?
tip? Can you leave a tip?
I was
this
gonna
is a
say-
tip culture.
And be like, "We left a tip," and he's like, "Where?" We're like a tip of your kidney. You left it in there. No.
But so Alex, truly, you know, let's talk. We know one person that needs a kidney, and you know, if this was a used car lot, you know, Chuck and his mom came in and they spilled the beans that they need that car now and immediately. So we know we can jack that price up a little bit.
But we can't pay more, else it's illegal.
Oh, not on paper.
Ah, the PayPal route.
All I'm saying is
A
you're
little
not.
Venmo.
Let me put it this way: you're not
Little
paying
Cash
Alex
App.
anything for the kidney.
Yeah.
You're not paying Alex a single cent. But what you happen to gift to me, that's its own thing. I have nothing to do with the kidney.
Right,
I
right.
was simply.
This is a real.
Some would say a man in the middle.
This is like a strangers on a train
middleman.
situation, right?
No,
because then there would have to be something going the other way.
no. I think this is just like legal loopholes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, that's what this
I've
is.
done some of those.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's me genius flying stuff.
Yeah. But no, I do think it's wonderful.
Your Honor, let me
yeah.
geniusify the law here.
It's so funny. I was thinking about it because you had texted me the info with Alex, and like I've known Alex for 20 years now. That's crazy.
Yes.
And he's always been so wonderful, and he's a great like supporter of my stand up.
Yeah.
Love the guy. He's so great. So when you were texting me that to me, I did respond with, this is great. I will lord this over you forever. Yeah. And I mean it jokingly, you know what I mean? So, but we'll figure out the money side. That's fine. Yeah.
Right.
I thought that would be funnier, the money angle. It's not because it's like a genuine organ donor. Fuck. You know what sucks for comedy? Charity.
Sincerity.
You know what, though? For the rest of the Fun Bears out there, if you have an extra kidney and want to come in under Alex's price,
ooh,
broker that.
This is a big
Yeah.
one. Wow, yeah.
Whoa.
Now we're flipped. This is the housing market, 2009.
hell yeah!
I like this.
If you have a fucking lung that you want to like offload, talk to us. Let us know.
Raise spare parts.
Yeah. Body by Ray. Yeah.
How far are we into the
digging
podcast?
around, shuffling around?
Ray,
We're one and one quarter episodes of a podcast right here.
Ray, we were going to put this lung into the patient, but there are dildos fastened to the ends of it.
Oh God, it's been genius fight. He has no accreditation. He just runs away like.
But look at his mirror thing.
You are the wacky gremlin. The one with the cross.
Yeah, I know. That's us. We're gonna switch. You're the mean one. Yeah. You're the electric. Wait. Maybe he's the smart one.
Maybe he's just Gizmo.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Phoebe Katz.
Kate's.
It's Katz.
Phoebe Katz.
I think it's Katz.
I think
No, it's Kate's.
It's definitely spelled Kate's.
Yeah. Kate.
Yeah, but Phoebe, like that's not.
good point, good
Yeah,
point.
that's true.
Theopia.
I like how you keep the PH still the same instead of Pahobie. Anyway, fuck all of this. What are we doing?
So today
Yes.
we had a couple. We wanted to talk about a couple quick things, and Ray's going to close with a little story that he's going
tap
to tell.
dance.
But before we jump into that, we did.
Hold on, let's do a little preamble.
I was just going to say like. A couple people have written and they said you guys did so much talk about the new Fast and Furious, and it was all like, yes, wait, can't we
lead
get
up,
and
yeah.
we never talked about the new Fast and Furious. We
Yeah,
saw a few
that is
movies
true.
this summer that we never really talked about.
That is true.
I think we talked pretty thoroughly about Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, for
We
sure.
talked about that.
Yes.
Fast X. We're not going to do spoilers at all. No spoilers here. We're just going to give
Sure.
a quick thing. I really enjoyed Fast X, but it is one of those situations where we got to see part 2 before we make a judgment.
Sure.
But I enjoyed it very much. I
Yeah.
thought Jason Momoa was a great new direction.
Jason Momoa was the best part of the
Yes.
whole movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a couple of thoughts I had about Fast X. Overall, the umbrella takeaway from it is that I enjoyed it. The previous Fast movie, 9,
Yeah.
I liked it not as much as some of the others in the later run, right?
okay.
I was getting a little like, I don't know where we're going here. With the whole, are we immortal?
Right.
Are we invulnerable?
I like that stuff. We've talked about
We've talked about that, yeah.
I like that.
But that one kind of dragged me down a little bit. I'm like, oh, a little shine is off of this. I think this came back. 10 was like, we know what we're doing. We're going to be obvious with this. But really, so that's my takeaway on that. But Jason Momoa, so fun.
Right.
Having him come in and just be the Joker, essentially, was the best choice they could have made. He chews the scenery so much and is having so much fun as that guy.
Yeah.
Someone pointed this out, I think, on Twitter, and I kind of agree with this. It is kind of wild that knowing how the franchise has worked and how Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel. What is wrong with me today?
I don't know.
The fact that they were able to have that happen, like Vin Diesel let him steal the show,
Yep.
Yes.
is great.
I think it's great.
So fun. It is a part 1. However, I feel satisfied with the way they chose to end the quote unquote cliffhanger.
I'm happy with
works as like a decent thing. Like that compared to the part 1 of Mission Impossible, which was a great movie.
Yeah.
Really, really good. That suffers from being a part 1.
Interesting.
okay.
This is fine. The part 1 of it. And I think Across the Spider-Verse also, to me, suffers a little bit from being a part 1.
Interesting.
Because you get to that point.
How do you feel about Infinity War, the part 1 aspect of it?
That I think is fine too.
That was such a powerful ending.
Right. It's tough because all of those that we're talking about are part 1s, and all 4 of those movies did it differently. You know what I mean? And I think
so too.
to me it goes like the most glaring is Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
It literally leads up to, all right, now we're gonna credits, right? Like it's a hard. That one to me is the harshest of.
Interesting.
And we stop here.
Right.
Yeah.
The new Mission Impossible
Second.
What's that?
Second harshest.
That I think is I think it suffers from it, you know, pretty decently.
Yeah.
It's tough because it works as a conclusion, but it feels like that. The pacing is off for the whole movie, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I know what you
they're
mean.
they're cutting to this kind of like, oh, let's stretch these things out because this was originally just going to be the start. You can
Got it.
feel that it was initially one story.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I think Fast is really good because it kind of gives you an ending,
Yes.
a satisfying enough conclusion. I think a lot of people are going to be like, "Did they kill John Cena? What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Sorry, spoilers. I should have said that. I apologize. We can edit if we want. We can bleep.
I think it's okay.
We can bleep it.
I think it's okay because it's
It's
not even.
it's a tertiary kind of thing.
It's also not even like who knows. Let's just say who knows.
I would say, yeah. But it's Fast. It's the Fast franchise.
But think about
literally
what happens.
anyone
What
can come
happens
back.
about 15 minutes later?
Sure.
Because we had a pretty sure many years ago.
Yeah. No, I think it is Fast, so it's like
It is a little up in the air.
anyone can come
I
back.
think they're all vampires.
Yeah.
In cars.
Ooh.
Come on in.
Who let him in? And then
Infinity War is the
Infinity
best.
War is the best again, it's an intentional thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's a story.
Yeah. But I really liked Fast. It was a lot of fun.
I didn't like Fast X as much as I hoped I would. I think my disbelief has been suspended so long for those movies. It is now off suspension. It is back in school. So my disbelief, I almost strained my eyes, rolling my eyes at some of the choices that were made in that film.
I love.
I think that's the magic of it.
Talking
'cause it
about
works.
Momoa, real quick.
Yeah.
Love the corpse scene. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
But that was
Yeah.
such a perfect, wow, this really feels outside of this series.
Yes.
And it grew it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I also really like about the movie, to me, the pinnacle of the series is the safe chase in 5. That's just me personally. So the idea of them saying, oh, we're going to make this 2-parter. What should we make it about? And let's go back to that and continue that story. I was like,
Sure.
that's really interesting and kind of a bold direction.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I just, I feel like it's been diminishing returns for me. Probably since 5, maybe like
Really?
the end of 7 when Chuck and I wept and held each other in the theaters. But since this one,
I got to be honest, like the 8, 9, and 10. 9 I didn't love as much. 8 and 10, fun.
Yep.
Good times. I'm going to show up for 11. To me, 7 is where it ended.
Okay.
To me.
Wow,
I
that's
think 5,
interesting.
6, and 7 are like a fantastic trilogy.
That's
5, 6, and
great.
7.
That's really interesting. It's funny because overall, I guess since we know we're in this world of crazy things, I really look for what they do to build that. And the safe chase is number 1 to me. I think number 2 for moments is the Paul Walker ending in 7.
Yeah.
And then number 3, I think, is actually the magnets in 9. I think it's just like the
You
best.
think it's
build.
that?
I think that the magnets thing
Yeah.
is one of the funnest things they've done. I think that for me, the low point of 5 through 10 is probably Fate of the Furious. I mean, the submarine stuff is fun. There's a lot of fun stuff there. I still like that one.
I think 8 has some fun stuff. For me, 9 got dragged down into CW drama territory.
Sure.
Where I kind of every time we went to the flashbacks, I was just checking
That's how-
out, and I'm
yeah.
like, I don't give a fuck.
That's
about
that, I
this.
did feel like that about the flashbacks.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit. I felt like it was necessary to make it believable that they brought in his brother.
I
in the
get that,
ninth
but
series.
it's tough where it's like sitting in the writer's room or whatever,
I
or just
know.
going over it and being like, you know what the Fast and Furious franchise needs? Gravity.
Yeah.
Well, I was
Right.
what they should have done is cut those scenes
the
to
on-
their bare minimum.
It's the only time they've paid attention to gravity in the whole series.
Yeah, exactly.
But I hear you.
Real quick, I will say this: the thing that did stand out to me as a negative to 10
Yeah.
that bummed me out is there was some really clear CGI moments that didn't need to be.
Right.
I think so too.
The one that was really glaring to me is the going down the stairs in Rome,
Yeah.
the car going down the stairs.
Yeah.
The reason it bummed me out is because I know that they've done that.
Previously for real.
Yeah, exactly. They've done
Practically.
it with practical effects,
Yeah.
with taking a car and actually taking it down the stairs. And the irony was, I watched the Mission Impossible movie,
Yep.
and they're, I believe, in the same exact location,
Wow.
like in Rome, and his car goes down the set of stairs.
Wow.
And the car actually does go down the
Yeah.
stairs. And I'm like, this is why this action really appeals to me.
Yeah.
Because the Mission Impossible, like Macquarie and Cruise, are like, let's do as much practical as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
And because he does his own stunts, we don't have to worry about CGI as much. So let's do more practical stuff.
Yeah.
And what I loved so much about the franchise for so long
Yeah.
is that they did use practical effects for the cars for so much of it.
Right.
Because just as there's an uncanny valley with human stuff when you use CGI, or like when you see like a CGI thing of a character like falling,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
cannot figure out how to get a body to move right.
Yeah, I know.
The same thing with the physics of a car.
I agree.
You know, you see like a car like flip and it's a CGI thing, it never looks right.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's very tough. I mean, the best thing to do is to do the practical thing and have like little sprinkles of CGI.
Yeah, use the CGI to improve that and make it more believable.
Yeah.
And use it when you have to. I get that there's going to be things the cars do that just can never
Yeah,
happen.
you can't have a car bring down a helicopter
Yeah,
and all this stuff.
but for fuck's sake, just send it down a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just let it go down the stairs.
I agree with you. But I did enjoy it.
Let the cars work.
Yeah, I thought that was good. And I will say, spoiler free, they did two things at the end that I didn't quite expect. That I'm like, this is the right choice to end this series.
Full frontal.
And full rear.
and a weird monologue while being full frontal.
Yeah.
You know the clip that people sometimes share of Charlie Chaplin as the dictator,
Yes.
giving his speech that is anti-fascism.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was that,
Yeah.
right.
but for car culture.
yeah.
And Vin Diesel was fully nude.
See, I saw a different cut. I saw he gave to be or he had Brian's skull.
I thought I was gonna say Hamlet too.
and it was to be or not the whole thing.
Shakespeare.
Oh,
Shakespeare or Hamlet?
Hamlet.
I said Hamlet first.
It's Hamlet.
Hamlet by Shakespeare. Shakespeare
Oh,
wrote.
Jesus Christ.
I was thinking
That's so
Romeo and
funny. I didn't
Juliet.
even hear what you... That's so funny the way you said it. I'm like, no, it's
Uh-oh.
Hamlet because you said the right thing. So I gravitated towards that. Yeah, you're right. Good catch.
Ray is big
That's why
genius
you're
five.
important. Oh, no. This is what I worry about.
Yeah, you're losing yourself in it.
This is what I'm
Get
saying.
out while you still can.
But yeah, no, it was wonderful.
Yeah. And then the other thing, I mean,
yeah.
there's two more movies. I loved Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. I thought it was great. I'm very happy that people like the animators on Spider-Verse and Turtles are saying, no, let's not move towards realism. Let's move towards style.
Yeah.
And I think that that's great.
Hell yeah.
I love the story. I think Seth Rogen in charge of stuff is great. I've listened to a big podcast recently about how 50-50, which I love that movie. I don't know if you've seen it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen.
No, I know what it is,
It's
yeah.
about him getting
Yeah.
spinal
Oh,
cancer.
yes.
Did you ever see it?
Yeah.
I really liked that
Sorry,
movie.
I confuse it all the time with 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly mixing them up in my head. And in my head, Adam Sandler gets cancer, and it's a tumor in his head that makes him forget every night. And it's like a
Yes.
Groundhog's
Right.
Day.
Yeah.
Well,
And so Seth Rogen and Drew Barrymore, fucking scab, is...
Barrymore's a scab?
Barrymore's a fucking scab,
Don't talk about
bro.
my Drew.
Your Drew ain't your Drew, and that Drew is a fucking scab.
What is she doing?
She's fucking doing her show.
Is that
without writers, but she's doing the show, and it's a struck show. It's been striked. It should not be happening. She's a
Really?
scab.
I didn't. So I heard about. I guess let's save this for another episode or something. But just
Drew
because
Scabby Moore.
Ooh.
Ew.
She went for
That
Halloween.
sums up our personalities. I go ew, and you go oh.
So Turtles.
Yeah.
50-50 when they made that.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until like this weekend. That was the first time that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, his writing partner, who had done Superbad and all this stuff,
Yeah.
had their own production company to make a movie, and that was like their big risk.
That's fun.
And 2 days before production started, their lead actor had to bow out from a family emergency.
Wow.
They didn't know Joseph Gordon-Levitt at all.
Yeah.
And they reached out to him and they said, like, we think you'd be good for this part. Like, what do you think? And he flew to Toronto that night. And he went into the movie.
And they got JGL because, and this is I heard this was true. Joseph Gordon-Levitt could do it. He heard about it because his co-star was originally cast. French Stewart was going to be in 50-50. Is that right? I've got a tumor. I've got a bad tumor. Wow.
You know what?
He was killer in 30.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He
No,
was
French
great.
Stewart.
Can we put French Stewart on AreYouOkay.com? Because
Yeah,
what's he
French
up
Stewart.
to?
I think he's fine. I think
Yeah.
he's doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, I
So-
think he's doing okay.
But yeah, that was really interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
And then I actually rewatched it that night, and there's way less camera setups than
Yeah.
in typical movies. There's only 2 crane shots.
Yeah.
I told Brad, there's a whole, there's a running thing between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and his therapist Anna Kendrick, where she keeps trying to touch his arm for comfort for him.
Mm-hmm.
No close-ups of the arm touch, and I'm like, wow, this really was shot on a much smaller budget than the surrounding stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to hear that was a big risk for them, and they were like, we don't know if our production company is going to continue.
That's great.
And that's who made Turtles this summer.
Yeah.
Point Great Pictures, also The Boys, also Sandman, tons
Yeah.
of stuff.
No, it's perfect.
And so I really loved it. I was thinking about it last night because of, the idea that all the bad guys are together in the van singing What's Up by the Four Non-Blondes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, such great fun stuff was put into this movie. And I love the idea that they went with a very different story about the Turtles just like fitting in and
Sure.
not doing the big Shredder thing right away, not doing the big Technodrome
Right,
stuff.
right.
So I'm glad that it's doing really well. And I was really, really happy with it. And I don't know how you feel about it, or if you
I thought it was sad when the turtle got cancer, and then they're like, "What are my odds?"
it's in
Yeah.
your shell.
I thought it was weird that Splinter kind of gave up ninja fighting and was really into pottery.
Yes.
So much pottery, and it was like it was a beautiful thing, but
Yeah.
then it had
Oh,
like
yeah.
a bunch of lumps on it, and I was like, this doesn't even look. It looks sick.
Yeah.
it looks sick.
It looks disgusting.
yeah.
No, I thought it was good. I loved the art direction, that it wasn't clean.
Yeah,
too.
And it was like
The scribbling over everything.
The characters were not designed to be beautiful. You know, like all the side characters didn't look like they could be in other movies.
No,
they
for-
look unique
exactly.
to this movie.
For a long time, CGI was very much the Disney /
Pixar.
Pixar. Thank you. I'm drawing
right.
so many blanks today.
That's why I'm here. Genius Five.
So much Disney Pixar like motivated towards that rubbery like shininess
Yeah.
of a thing, and it's like Pixar. You can just feel a Pixar
Yeah.
when you see it, right? And you're like, oh, it's going to be an emotional story about somebody and whatever. That all of that happened. What I like that's happening right now, I think we got a little taste of it with Lego Movie
Yeah, for sure.
that embraced some of the stuff. Like, we're going to make it stilty and we're going to keep moving them the way they would move.
Right.
Then I think Spider-Verse, the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, that became like the thing that started embracing the medium and said, we are making an animated movie. Let's make the animation work with this because
Right.
it's from comics. And I think that's what helped go there.
Me
and it's
too.
nice to get into a space where it's like, yeah, not everything has to be this weird, clean plastic look.
Right.
Yes.
It can be gritty or dirty or drawn and feel the animation.
Yeah.
And I do think, I said this to you on the phone after I saw the movie, because I went with Finn and my father-in-law and brother-in-law and nephew. And I enjoyed the movie, but the whole time I very much was like, I don't think this would look this way if Into the Spider-Verse
had
didn't
kicked open the
exist.
door.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think Across the Spider-Verse only furthered that.
Yeah, it went even
like
further
the
to
parchment
that. Yeah.
paper, the watercolor dimension, all that
Right.
stuff is, and I'm so much more interested in that.
Yeah,
than what you're
embrace
talking
the
about.
animation. That's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
thing.
They
Embrace
went-
the fucking animation.
It's great. They went in a great direction. They're
Yep.
making a sequel. They're making a TV show and a video game, and I hope that all the writers and all the people that are making this
Yeah.
stay on, because like Spider-Verse, like Lego Movie and Lego Batman, which I think is like super funny, very well written.
Sure.
I hope the team stays together. Like Rose Byrne as Leatherhead is such a cool choice. Hannibal Buress, like all
Yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
Rudd. It was just a great project. And then finally,
And thank God they gave Paul Rudd a part. That guy needs to be in stuff.
did
He's
you
not
did you
working
did you
enough.
notice what they put in the credits for him?
And
Introducing Paul
yeah,
Rudd,
yeah, yeah.
which I'm
That's
like,
so, yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, very
And
funny.
I also loved the artwork during the credits of like the shitty Turtles drawings.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then finally, Guardians 3 came out this summer, and I think that they fucking couldn't have made it better.
It was great.
It was so.
Yeah,
it was so
it was very
good.
fun.
They went further into emotion than the other two.
Yes.
Like I was talking to my buddy Lou, our close friend, and he's like, I wouldn't rewatch this one like the other two. And I'm like, I agree, it's not as fun of a ride, but I'm like, it almost feels like it should have more of an emotional stake to be the final chapter.
Yeah,
in this.
yeah.
And they handled all of that stuff in such a great way, and the moments that were supposed to be emotional in that movie for me hit me so fucking hard.
Oh, sure.
It was like outrageous.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, I said to Kalina, my wife, I was when we were watching the movie, and we're both like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, none of this is real.
I know.
That raccoon is not a real raccoon, and it doesn't
I know.
exist, and it's CGI, and it's going through this stuff in a space place. None of this is real, but I feel real emotion to
Yeah.
this. But no, I think James Gunn is terrific.
Yeah.
What I love so much about those three movies is that they are just undeniably James Gunn.
Yeah.
His directing is all over it. His flair, his
Yeah.
flavor, where he likes to go with things, it's all over that. And sometimes that's amazing. Sometimes it's like, yeah, that's a bit
Right.
James Gunny, you
Yeah,
know, whatever
sure.
it is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I would rather have 100% of a person's identity in this thing and their artistic flavor than get the homogenized
Of course.
Right.
frozen chicken patty
That's-
that
that's-
is these other things, although those are delicious.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
To
No
me,
sauce.
that's the key to making films feel legit and
Yeah.
authentic. And I just found this out, and you're not going to believe this, but I just read this. All the
Exclusive.
Guardians stuff, all the sets, really there, not green screen.
Of course. That's not
Isn't that
surprising to
crazy?
me at all.
The Skin Planet and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I was
So fucking
just-
That's very
cool.
James Gunn.
Thinking about the emotions, I feel like Guardians 2 and to an extent Guardians 1, anytime there was an emotional beat, a joke stepped on that emotion. It was too quick. And,
I could see that, yeah.
And in the third, they let the emotion breathe.
Sure,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, maybe it was just saving up for this moment
Yeah.
to destroy me in the theaters.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great
Oh, so good.
great movie watching experience after some. It's weird because Guardians 1, we went in with no expectations
Right.
and left, and I was like, that was the most fun I've had in the movies for years.
Yeah.
Guardians 2, I went in and I had a bad time.
Sure.
You
yeah.
know, I brought some baggage in with me on that one, and so coming out of the third one, I was like, yeah, movies are fun.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah. You were mad that they introduced an Asian character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So
aw-
that-
by the way,
that's-
she's
that's-
like
Oh,
killer.
she's
That's
fantastic.
two
Yeah.
different racism accusations.
Sorry.
It's all right. Let's get rule of threes.
Rule of threes. Oh,
So-
it's going to be a banger.
Oh, good.
Can I say I would like to add to this? There's a scene that's peak emotion for Chris Pratt, and I said to Kalina when we were watching it, I was like, "Damn, James Gunn can direct an actor to bring something that I haven't seen out of this actor
Yeah.
in 10 movies, right?
Right.
Like oh." You can act. You can get to that place. Wow.
They
you
did.
know?
They did multiple things with the ending emotionally, and I don't want to spoil it. One with the group, one with Chris Pratt, that were like real tasks. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you make this emotional? And they really, really built you.
Sure.
It was crazy how they walked you there, and they really killed it.
Speaking of like a director's like flavor and being on there, I did want to just point this out really quickly.
Yeah.
I did see the Barbie movie.
Yeah, I want to
And
see it so bad.
we won't get into the whole thing.
Yeah.
But this ties in for a reason. Like the fact that James Gunn got the "we're not sure about this property entirely" movie. We'll give you Guardians because nobody really knows what that is,
Right.
and we'll give it to you. And actors passed on it because they were like, I don't want to be in the first Marvel flop,
Right.
Yeah.
and nailed it and
Yeah.
became probably the strongest structure within the Marvel thing.
Right.
I think it is. If you
Yeah.
look at all those different like properties as individual things, like this trilogy,
Yeah, it's the strongest.
It's,
Yeah.
it's so good.
What I think is interesting is the Barbie movie. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is not the most important movie in the world. It is not like hold it up kind of thing.
Right.
It's incredibly popular, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that it is
Right.
for what it is.
Yep.
Because a huge chunk of the population got lured into watching a Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's killer.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I really loved the movie. It was great. I don't think it's like this is one of the best movies of the last 10 years or anything like that. I thought it was really good.
That's great.
I like what they did with it.
That's great.
Right? But my point is this. I think because of the huge success, which
Yeah.
I love Margot Robbie. I think she's a fantastic actress.
Yes.
Best.
I think she makes great choices.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it was her studio or her production company that took this movie on. Big risk. Love it. Fantastic.
I think she's amazing.
Glad it's succeeding as much as it is. My concern is this. I think the studios are going to see the success, and I think it's already happening.
I know.
And go, we gave a big, vapid IP to two thoughtful filmmakers.
Yep.
Yeah.
A husband and wife, Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. I think they're married. I believe they are.
Okay.
If not, I'm just a shitty traditionalist going, they must be married.
Yep.
But because they did talk about writing it during quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of that is in the movie, right?
Yeah.
And they took these big risks, and they knew, like one of the things was they knew right away only Ryan Gosling can play Ken when they were just writing.
That's awesome.
And when he signed on, they said, Kalina was listening to a bunch of interviews and stuff and gave me all this information. It was great. They just sat and like were speechless for like 20 minutes with each other, just like looking at each other because they couldn't believe that he went for it.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I'm a huge fan of Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
being funny.
Me too.
Let the man be funny.
Yep.
He is naturally fucking fantastic.
He's
His
great. Mm-hmm.
timing is perfect. All that stuff. I think the studio, instead of going, maybe we should give other vapid IPs to real film, not
Right.
real, but like thoughtful filmmakers that are trying
Yeah.
to do a thing, and let them do that thing. Instead, they're going, people want the vapid IP property.
I know.
All right, well, we're going to get a fucking Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. We're going to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get churned out. Let's have a Cabbage Patch Kids movies. Let's do this and let's do that. And it's a bummer because like Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are fantastic screenwriters. Like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
great, and they're great directors on their own.
Right.
And so it's really fun to see that happen, and I just wish more of that would happen.
Yeah.
In that regard,
Yeah.
when we say like these kinds of comedies, the other movie I saw was one we talked about a little bit, and I had said I was looking forward to seeing it. And that movie is the R-rated comedy, and I was like, ooh, the hard R,
Yeah,
right?
right.
No Hard Feelings,
Right.
No.
is the movie.
Jennifer Lawrence.
I was so pumped for that movie. It came out. My wife and I were ready to watch it, and the first act, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm excited about this. And I said to Kalina, I'm like, this could use like 20% more comedy,
Yeah.
more jokes in here.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes goes by, and then she looks at me and she's like, could use like 30% more comedy. Then a little more time goes by, and I'm like, it needs comedy.
Yeah,
Right? And it
yeah.
just fell away,
I know.
and it became icky and weird, right?
Yeah.
But it bummed me out. It was a letdown where I'm like, oh, give me the hard R. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's,
I know.
I think to me, the Barbie movie fulfilled that want that I had for a straight up comedy. Like, I love that movie is joke.
Oh, I gotta see it. I can't wait to see it.
That's
man.
why I get excited about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And I think the movie that was being sold by the trailer for No Hard Feelings
Yeah.
is supposed to be a joke movie,
Right.
and it just wasn't.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
went so long on this conversation.
You know what movie I didn't think was funny? Oppenheimer. Needed like 20% more comedy.
Did we all watch
Yeah.
that?
I didn't
haven't
even watch
seen it
it.
yet.
It's
I haven't
just-
seen
that
it.
was the natural.
It's incredible.
comparison.
Obviously.
No, for
It's
sure.
very dense,
Yeah.
but it's really good.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to bring up for movie stuff is just the movie Talk to Me, which is a very low budget horror movie that was shot in Southern Australia by these two new filmmakers that was put out by A24. And I think it's a really, really great concept, and they made a really great, intimate horror film that fits along the lines with like It Follows, which is one of
Yeah,
my favorite
yeah,
smaller
that's
horror
great.
films of the past,
Yeah.
couple,
Yeah.
15 years, I guess.
Also, that writer-director of It Follows
Yeah.
made one of my favorite movies ever
Which is
that no one has seen because it was shelved.
yeah.
Under the Silver Lake.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, that's on my Just Watch queue, and I'm like, why is this here?
Yeah, it's great.
So the writer-director of It Follows,
Yeah.
that was his like breakout movie, his
Right.
first thing.
Yeah.
And then the studio said, "We'll give you the money to make the next thing you want to make." And he
Yeah.
goes, "I want to make Under the Silver Lake," which is a layer after layer paranoid conspiracy movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's commenting on the entire Hollywood industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And stars Andrew Garfield in a fantastic performance. Like, it made me a lifelong fan of Andrew Garfield.
I'd love to
Yeah.
see it. I love Garfield.
It's the movie's weird as hell, and I
Don't
what
look at
just
me,
happened?
Odie.
Yeah.
That's why he looked at me.
The movie's so like weird in the best way, and
Yeah.
I remember watching it with my wife, and I was just like, I can't wait to unpack this and rewatch it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I
it's
wanna-
that kind of movie.
I gotta see it.
There's one scene with a music composer that is one of my favorite scenes in film. So I love this movie. He created the writer director of It Follows makes this movie. The studio is like, okay, and the studio takes it to, I think, Cannes, whatever.
Yeah. Cannes.
and the Cannes Festival, and it was entirely polarizing. Some people like walked out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Some
great.
people stood and applauded.
Yeah.
And it was so polarizing that it scared. I believe A24 did the movie. Scared them. Was it A24? Doesn't matter. And they shelved the fucking movie for a while.
Wow.
And then unceremoniously dumped it on Amazon Prime.
Wow, I gotta watch it.
They just dumped it with like no press,
Yeah.
no nothing. And the only reason I checked it out was like, oh, it's Andrew Garfield and the guy that did It Follows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watching it is like amazing. I love it. Is a fucking weird movie, and it's so fun to watch.
I worry that I will watch it and I will not get it.
That's fine.
That my inner Cobb
Yeah.
tendencies will come out,
That's okay.
and I will just be baffled.
I'm half Cobb, half snob. Not the part that looks down on stuff, just the part that understands it all.
Oh, I don't understand
You're a
it.
scob.
It's like Drew Barrymore. No.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, she's a scob.
So just-
don't you know? Abacus, we have a scob.
just to wrap up the Talk to Me thing.
Yeah.
So it was made for 4.5 million, which is awesome. All unknowns, and it's about how there's this hand being passed around that's supposed to be the hand of a psychic or a medium.
Okay.
That was embalmed and encased in ceramic.
Ah.
And people are passing around from friend group to friend group. And when you hold it and you say "talk to me," a random dead person, comes
Appears.
up and appears in front of only you. You can see
Yeah.
them, and you say, "I let you in," and they enter your body. And as long as you're holding onto the hand, they're in there, and you only
Wow.
have 90 seconds before you could take it off. But teens are passing it around,
Yeah.
and filming it and putting it on TikTok, and everyone's
Oh, okay,
laughing
yeah.
at these parties, and they love it.
That's fun.
And it's like you have to get rid of it in 90 seconds, or it stays.
Yeah.
And the movie is. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever made.
No.
But I think it's a great little horror concept that you walk away being like, "Fuck yeah!"
And can we? I think that's the thing. I said about Barbie, it's not the best
Right.
movie in the whole wide world. You're saying like, look, Talk to Me is not world-endingly good. We're at this point in like film discussion
I know.
where it's either the best thing that's ever been,
Yep.
or garbage.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we just go back to like that was a good movie?
That was a good action movie. That was a good
Yeah,
horror movie. That
exactly.
was a good comedy. I know.
Make-
I agree.
film's good again.
And I just want to say, I saw it.
My figure.
I went to go see it at Alamo Drafthouse
Yeah.
in Staten Island, which I don't know if the movie is everywhere. I just looked it up. It is in Providence Place Mall, so that means it must be
Yeah.
in a lot of places. I saw it there. Before the movie, they showed a trailer for Idle Hands, which is awesome.
So fun.
Just because it
Yeah,
was
it makes sense.
similar.
Yeah.
And they showed a ton of YouTube video stuff of the directors trying to get the movie made and pitching it and filming themselves.
That's really
and stuff like that
cool.
right before the movie.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, this built this so well.
Yeah.
It was so exciting to see.
That's great.
Awesome. So
Another horror movie I
want.
want to watch,
Yeah.
and I was about to watch with my wife because I watched the recommendation of Red Letter Media. They were talking about this movie Cobweb.
Right.
Yeah, I want to see Cobweb.
Yeah, I want to see Cobweb.
Oh, so you didn't watch it yet.
I have it, and we were about to watch it, and I heard great things. And I don't like. There's some scary movies I like It Follows. I can watch a movie like that all
Right.
day long.
You'll like talk to me.
Yeah,
lot.
okay. What I don't like is a movie that has jump scares and stuff like that. I think regular ass jump scares to me are just like
Yeah.
this is just a math thing.
Yeah.
This is just get really quiet and then all of a sudden get really loud.
Yeah.
Like you
Yes.
could just do it with your eyes closed.
Yes.
And it still gives you the jump.
Right.
Yeah, and that my eyes are closed through most of those movies.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
So I don't care for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And often I have a problem where like I joke about it with Kalina because she likes scary movies.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, nah, I just don't want to watch it because like I know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
The way my brain works is I look at a thing and I go, oh yeah, that was like a scary moment. That's good. I like that. You know, it would be really scary.
Yeah.
Right.
I know,
And then I
yeah.
just do that for the rest of like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
every time I go to bed, I'm like, better start thinking about that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
No,
just do
know.
that.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
I know.
I'm such a baby about it. But we were about to watch Cobweb.
Yeah.
And then my son, we had moved his room around.
Right.
He wanted to like reconfigure everything, and he was in a new space, and now he could see the gap between the window curtain and the window.
Oh boy.
And it didn't work. So we're about to start the movie. We're in the opening credits, and we hear like a light moany cry from my son's room. And we're like, what the fuck? And we went in, and he's like, I'm scared. He was taping the curtain to the wall.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't like it, and I heard a noise out there.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I get it. I
Yep.
even told him I would get freaked out laying in bed and looking over and seeing that gap.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that gap.
Yeah.
We will cover that gap. No worries.
Yeah.
So we taped it that night, and the next day I fixed it permanently. So
Yep.
it was like that, you know,
Yeah.
being a good dad.
Boarded up the window.
Yeah. Nothing's getting in here. son.
Lock on the door, on the outside of the door.
Outfit,
Yeah.
have you seen Let the Right One In?
Right.
Yeah.
Get in the car. And so we did that, but I was like, well, what was the sound? And he was like, it was like a noise. And I'm like, all right. And this was a moment that is genuine where it's like your child, he just can't communicate the right thing of
Right.
it, what he heard. He puts it through his like kid brain, and
Yep.
it comes out this way. But I think every parent has had this moment where when their child is smaller, they will say something that because it's coming from a child in the right moment is fucking unsettling. Is horrifying.
Yeah.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, and Kalina and I both got creeped out
Yep.
when he did that, and I was like, "It's fine." It was probably you probably heard, somebody was lighting off fireworks down the street,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing. And I said, "Do you want me to go out and look?" And he went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay," and I've
Yeah.
done this
In
in
your
the
head, you're
past.
like, oh shit.
Why did he say yes?
Yeah. How about this? You go around that way, and I'll go around this way.
Ray goes over to his closet. He puts on a garlic necklace.
Not getting me, dick. Right?
I like the idea that you're like, Finn, you go that way, I'll go this way. And it's just Shaggy and Scooby, and you back into each other.
I want the whole
see, my
closet.
trick is I don't move. Yeah. And then he goes all the way around.
I want the closet to be all the different movie stuff. You're like, you have an It Follows thing. You put on a condom.
Got my weird little clamshell phone.
Silver bullets in case it's a werewolf.
Oh, yeah.
Garlic in case it's a vampire.
Putting on. His
I dip. Here's what I do. I dip silver bullets in garlic holy water. So it
Delicious, by the way.
covers. Yeah, it covers a lot of
grabs a
different
few
things.
garlic knots
Yeah.
at the same time.
You've got makeup remover in case it's Pennywise.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I've got a few things.
I was thinking the big Batman versus Superman thing in case it's Superman. has a bazooka with kryptonite bullets in it. Yeah.
So I had to go outside and I did that.
Yep.
And I looked around and everything. But we had just sat down to watch this scary movie.
Yep.
I had shown her the trailer. I was into the thing. There is a moment just on like an editing level that I do think it's what made me go, I want to watch this movie.
Okay.
Which is like in a normal jump scare setting, this little kid, it excites me because it's from the perspective of a kid. So you see a lot of things that are out of, it's not reality.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the rooms are bigger, the like shadows on the wall are bigger, you know, things like that. It's really great. There's one moment in the trailer that's different in the movie, thanks to Red Letter Media. I know this. The trailer edit, kid's laying in bed, sees scary mom. We're talking just the smiley thing. The eyes are glinting like an animal.
Yeah.
In the night, which is fucking horrifying. I love that. Great choice.
Yeah.
Lizzie Kaplan playing the mom.
Yeah, she's
so
great.
interesting.
Great.
Great.
Right? Homelander from The Boys playing the dad.
Okay.
Nice.
Absolutely great. He's a
Yeah.
fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm so pumped for this. Anyway, she starts running down the hallway towards the boy, right? And the lights, of course, go out in the hallway. Then they go on. Then they go out.
Yes.
So you see her. She starts to run. Lights go out. Lights come on. She's running. Lights go out again. And it's like, okay, we're gonna get the jump scare.
Yep.
And in the trailer, you know, she pops out. And
Yep.
it's like, look. In the theatrical release, what I love about this, and it's so fucking smart, because when she's running, you're hearing like clompy clobbering on an old hallway floor.
Right.
Duk, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like that.
That's just me walking around the apartment.
Yeah, that's you dipping your tea.
Yes.
They're running from the living room when the Bears lose.
So in the real cut, you see her.
Yep.
She starts to run. Lights go out. You see lights on. You see her running in the hallway. Lights go out again. For a while, the lights are just out, and you just hear way further than what the hallway is.
Yeah.
That to me went, I want to watch this movie. It's going to be fucking scary.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing. And
Yeah.
it made me so pumped, because it's like, that's how you use. I complain about jump scares all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate them. I think they're lazy. I
Yeah.
think there are a lot of horror movies that aren't really scary. It's just, let's have a scary image thing.
Yep.
It's The Nun. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever it is. It's just like, look at this creepy thing that looks like that other creepy thing. And we're just going to give you a series of jump scares through this movie. You might as well go into the theater and put a seatbelt on, and you're on a fucking theme park ride, right? Sorry. But
you and Scorsese.
yeah, me and Marty are all about this. But the real like craft
Yeah.
in going, let's pull that out a little
Right.
bit. Let's
Yes.
just tease that further. Let's go longer than what the audience is anticipating.
Yeah.
Everyone knows there's about to be a jump scare.
Yep.
So instead of giving that to them right away, let's hold on this feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sound. That's when I get excited about a horror movie, where it's like, oh, look at the craft of this.
Yeah.
The simplicity of just being terrifying to continue.
Yes.
That's when I get excited about the creativity.
I always talk about film and how like I think film is built for horror because you take ingenuity and kind of do things like that. And
Yeah.
you figure out almost like tricks and new ways to present things like that.
I like it's me editing, and it's, lights on, lights off, lights, and you hear the sound, and it's getting louder, and then it just keeps going, and it's still a black screen, and then it starts to get softer and softer. And
That's
she's
funny.
just and
Yeah, she's
and
running away.
then the lights come back on, and the kid's like up against the wall, and he's like, "Whew, that was close."
I like how the
She just ran past. I was gonna throw in a trash can and a cat.
I was gonna say seating A 15 through 30. All right, this is your pilot speaking. There's a great moment like that. Did you see all the Paranormal Activity movies?
No, I didn't give a shit about those movies.
So in Paranormal Activity 3,
Yeah.
it takes place in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
And they're having all this weird stuff happen in the house, and they only have a VHS camera.
Yeah.
So they're like, we can't film that much. And to the dad, it's so well done. It's so well done. He
It
goes,
really is.
what I thought we could do at night to have it film overnight and see the whole living room is I took the head off this oscillating fan and I put the camera on it. And so it goes across like that, and like that's how it sweeps the house.
And
awesome.
that's perfect tension building because you see a thing and then it's gone and then you come back. And
they
then
have
you
it
come
on
back.
the living room set, and there's a sound.
Yeah.
And the camera pans away from the living room set, and it goes to the hallway, and the mom and dad are hearing a sound, so they come out and they look, and they walk over, and the fan is following them, and the living room set is gone. And then it all crashes down from above the camera. And I'm like, this is amazing filmmaking. This is like incredibly...
That's fun.
I like hands over my eyes. I'm looking at the bottom right corner of the screen so that I know when something has happened. Because I can't do it.
When they came up with that oscillating fan thing, I'm like, this is amazing.
Perfect. Yeah.
And we're going to have a big talk in October about some how I think franchise horror gets to build in some bold story things because they're under the guise of, well, people will come see another Halloween.
No,
and it's really interesting to see filmmakers be able to do stuff that they may not be able to get away with in other movies.
Yeah, I don't think there's any coincidence that a lot of the filmmakers that break through now start in horror and then get plucked to do one of the IP movies.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that happens a lot.
Ingenuity.
Yeah, because that's the last place. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Horror is the last place for that mid-budget movie.
Talk to me. It started a huge discussion between me and a bunch of people
It's really great. No. So I will see it. I will see Cobweb because we finally got Finn to bed and I was like, I don't want him coming out. If he wakes back up, I don't want him coming out and there's a scary movie going on.
Yeah, of course.
And then that's how I said it to Kalina. And then so we watched like comedy stuff and enjoyed ourselves that way. And then afterwards, I was like, I didn't want to watch it because I was like spooked out. And she was like, so was I. We were both spooked out. Our son, our 9-year-old, scared us, so we didn't want to watch the horror.
What
movie.
sound did you hear outside the window? And he's like,
Yeah.
We watched Dead Silence, which is a movie by the director of Saw. It's one of his movies that he made like right after that, and it's about it's kind of like the ventriloquist dummy Goosebumps story.
Sure.
We watched it in my house this is years ago in my room.
Halloween 2007.
We should have done this for Halloween. What are we doing?
I know. Yeah. But this is the last thing I'll say. My mom was sleeping in the room above us because this is 16 years ago.
That's correct.
And
wasn't she was doing something and you said you got to stop.
2008.
Yeah, you said you got to stop doing that, and your mom said, "Fuck you. Who needs a kidney?" That was weird.
Yeah.
So the next day she goes, "Hey, what were you guys watching last night?" And I'm like, "Oh, this movie Dead Silence is like a horror movie." She's like, "That music went into my nightmares.
Oh yeah,
and it affected my dreams all
Yeah.
night." And she was scared in the room, which is funny.
Yeah, no. Now we're in this territory. I want to talk about times.
I know. We
Other
gotta
movies have scared us. Why don't we say this? Let's
save it for Halloween.
We will save
Halloween Cash.
For Halloween Cash, we talk about horror movies scaring us. Okay. Let's make a pact. All put our hands in. Funbearable on 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Funbearable!
We did it.
It's the dumbest thing on any podcast.
But listen, between 6 and like 13, I was laughing.
I forgot what we were supposed to say at the end.
Me too.
And I'm like,
I had to reach my brain. I know I was doing it.
Oh man,
we got a clip.
Let's close it.
We got to close this up.
We got a clip
Yeah,
though. We can use that as a clip.
Oh, for sure. That is a clip.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Brad.
And guess what? I still owe you a
Terrible story
about a bad thing that happened.
We're doing it. All right, Brad.
Well, folks, this was an off the rails episode.
Yeah.
Someday we're gonna buy rails.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to invest in rails.
And year 3.
I'm into by rails. You said you were into something different, though. Biracial, I think was what it was. Yeah.
Rosie really changed him. I am happy.
We are delighted you were able to join us for this episode of Funbearable.
Clint Eastwood in Gran Turismo.
No. What?
Gran Torino. Gran Turismo's the
I
driving
meant
one.
Clint Eastwood trying to play Gran Turismo.
Which one's the handbrake?
If you have questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise,
Hitting the wall.
send us
I'll hit you.
I genus fight it. That's
Send us an email, funbearablepod@gmail.com, or find us on socials at funbearablepod. If you're a new viewer or listener, we're so sorry.
They didn't make it this far to hear that.
They certainly did not.
Yeah.
For Ray Harrington and Chuck State 9, Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
And listen, I know it was earlier on in the episode, but if you are chunky Star Wars boy, I shouldn't say it that way. Now you're definitely not going to reach out. If you're,
if you're chunky Star Wars boy, are people still bullying you?
yeah. If you're a tubby Star Wars boy,
If you're that fat Star Wars idiot, are people still mean to you?
I just would like to know if you happen to be the Star Wars boy, body irrelevant. Reach out to us. Let us know how you're doing, or
Yeah.
if you are the subject of any viral video
Yeah, sure.
of the past.
Oh, the girl that got hit in the head with the shovel. That's one of
Shovel
my
girl?
favorite.
Are you kidding
Shovel
me?
face, grape stomper, all of you.
Absolutely.
We need to have all the virals on.
Who do you think is like the top of that particular chain?
Chocolate
the
Rain is
most
up there.
viral of the virals. But Chocolate Rain's different because it's a performance.
He's like, I closed this fucking episode.
It took us 25 minutes to open it. It's going to take us 25 minutes to close it. All right, Bradley? This is a genuine question, and it fits here because I don't want to bring this up again in another episode. Who do you think the top of all of the virals? Who's the most viral of the virals? Because I would say to Chocolate Rain, I would say, well, what about Gangnam Style? But that's not a viral video. That's just a hit song.
YouTube was invented to show Janet Jackson having her nipple taken out at the Super Bowl. That's the reason YouTube
I think-
was invented.
And when you say that, do you mean like a sniper shot it?
Yes.
It took it out? Take out the nipple.
I think Charlie bit my finger.
Ooh, Charlie Bit My Finger might be at the top of that little
Yeah.
chain. It might be.
This
I
topic
don't
is-
know.
this topic
what about
is too-
David at the dentist?
this topic is too fun to put in this little close.
sure?
I think so.
You know what else? Damn Daniel.
Maybe.
Damn Daniel. Is he? I want to know if,
How about this?
if Damn Daniel's back at it again
Maybe
with
we
the new Vans.
do a Roar You Know later this week about viral video
Later
stars.
this week.
Yeah.
Can you do that for us?
2024 thing.
Can you do that for us?
I can try.
Well, we could talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. If only you had a website you could go to find out how everybody was doing.
I know.
AreTheyOkay.com. A lot of lies, though.
A lot of lies.
Yeah, don't trust it.
Oh, yeah, we already said goodbye.
Bye.
Several times.
So what else? What are we talking about now? Is it over?
think
It
we're
feels weird to just end it, doesn't it?
Want to close again?
Yeah. Thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.